You guys aren't going to believe this, but I awakened an S-class ability. I can generate infinite mana. I'm going to become incredible, and all the girls will fall at my feet. But at the start of my story, that's not what happened. Everyone looked down on me because my magic was only useful for mages and healers. I was just a low-level hunter, level 29, so in battles I could only stand by and watch. I was only useful when the team's mages ran out of mana. Then I'd step up to recharge them. With my help, the mage would be back at full mana and launch a full-power attack, successfully defeating the boss. But no one ever thanked me. They just treated me like a tool. My leader told me I didn't contribute much today, so I should help collect the useful parts from the boss. I felt wronged, but I had no choice but to obey. Isn't that guy part of the combat team? Why does he have to do logistics work too? A nearby teammate scoffed. I heard he only has one ability, infinite mana generation. Even though it's an S-class skill, it's useless. Healers can recharge mana on their own. He just makes it go faster. Its effects only show up in situations like today's boss fight, where huge amounts of magic are needed. When hunting regular monsters, it's basically useless. Even though he's been a hunter for 5 years, he still isn't level 30. I could only silently endure their voices cracking jokes about me. Just you wait, I thought. As soon as I reached level 30, everything would be different. Back at the Great Sage Guild headquarters, I heard the news I least wanted to hear. Sano, they told me. No one is willing to team up with you anymore. And since you're only level 29, it's impossible for you to clear dungeons alone. So, after some discussion, we decided to transfer you to the business department, where you can make full use of your skills. If I couldn't even clear dungeons, what was all my effort for? In the end, I chose to leave. However, what everyone didn't know was that my ability was actually more than just infinite magic generation. Surprisingly, my skill had awakened even before I became a hunter. As soon as the skill activated, a pop-up suddenly appeared in front of me. After I clicked copy, the pop-up instantly transformed into food in my hand. I thought it was an incredibly powerful skill, but after truly understanding it, I realized how terrible its drawbacks were. As soon as copied items left my body, they dissolved into streams of light and vanished. What was infuriating was that copied equipment also had level restrictions. Equipment exceeding my own level would simply fail to copy. Strangely, copied magic power didn't disappear. It could also be transferred to others for use. This led to others misunderstanding my true skill, and that's why they called it infinite magic generation. Although I was also copying others' skills, there were various conditional restrictions. Then, a news alert popped up on my phone. The Kalesia Dragon Sword would be exhibited in the island nation. This longsword had 2 special skill slots and defense-boosting effects. Its most special feature? The moment someone grabbed it, their level soared to 200, even though the equipment requirement was only level 30. However, this divine weapon, known as the Legendary Sword, only had 10 durability points. That was its major drawback. But for me, durability didn't matter. I could infinitely copy it. I just needed to reach level 30 within a week and touch this sword. So I joined a temporarily formed team to conquer the Giant King's Spider Dungeon. And there I was again, hiding behind the mage, occasionally boosting the blonde guy's mana. This blonde guy was also quite rude. Every time his mana was replenished, he'd wildly unleash ultimate attacks, not afraid of running out at all. However, I didn't care anymore. I only cared about how much more experience I needed to level up. Senior Sano, still looking at your status information? This was Ikanaga. So, a member of the Great Sage Guild. He was indeed my junior, though I, his senior, was living quite miserably. I heard he was short on money, so he joined these temporary teams to earn cash in his free time. Soon we arrived at the boss room. The boss, a level 80 Giant King Spider. The pressure here is intense. Can we really beat this thing? I'm incredibly nervous right now. Ikanaga. So notices my fear and tries to comfort me. Don't worry, senior. Just stay hidden in the back. Beating the Giant King Spider is actually pretty simple. Just be careful of its silk. If you get tangled, it's tough to break free. Also, if the spider eggs get damaged, the Giant King Spider will go completely berserk. Suddenly, the blonde guy nearby gets impatient. Ikanaga. So, why are you explaining all this to an audience member? Let's just start already. With that, he irritably kicks a small stone at his feet, but the stone unexpectedly hits some spider silk. The Giant King Spider instantly senses the movement. It lets out a tremendous roar and attacks everyone. Damn it, mage! Look what you've done! Luckily, our tank blocked the attack and even managed to chop off one of the boss's legs. What are you all just standing around for? Attack! Everyone then raises their weapons and charges at the boss, unleashing their signature moves. Meanwhile, I can only hide behind them, silently cheering for my teammates. But then, an accident still happens. Just as the Giant King Spider uses its silk skill, that idiot blonde starts acting recklessly again. He casts a wide-range flame skill directly at the nest. The boss takes no damage thanks to the silk's protection, but the spider eggs in the nest are destroyed. Seeing this, the Giant King Spider spider goes completely berserk. It instantly spits out countless silks. Everyone is caught. They can't escape in time and get completely entangled in the silks. Why is this happening? My flames aren't working on the silks. The blonde's shouting attracts the giant king spider. It slowly walks towards him. Only then does he realize his stupidity, terrified beyond belief. No! With a scream, the blonde is gone from this world. Watching this, I'm filled with terror. My entire body is tightly bound by silks, completely unable to move. Who can save me? The giant king spider's next target is me. Staring at the monster so close, I feel utter despair. I thought this low-level dungeon would be safe, but it ended up like this. I refuse to accept this. Do you want to copy and paste? Whenever I'm about to die, my ability automatically activates. It pastes out a copy of myself from just before. The original body then disappears, but my resurrection doesn't free me from this crisis. I'm killed by the boss again. Control 5. The newly revived me immediately hides. This isn't working. What should I do? Just as I'm struggling, I hear a weak cry for help. It's Ikanaga. So, he's still alive, but I can barely protect myself right now. The boss is constantly approaching. I know if I don't do something, Ikanaga, so will surely die. Damn it. As a senior, how can I just watch my junior get killed? So I charge forward with my sword, heavily striking the foot the boss is about to attack. The powerful recoil knocks me to the ground. Luckily, the boss's attack is deflected because of this. Just then, a system pop-up appears. Level 30. I stare at the system panel in confusion. What's happening? How did I suddenly level up? Could my attack just now have had an effect? While I'm still in a daze, I'm killed by the boss again. Control 5. Are you kidding me? But since my attacks can damage you, I won't run anymore. Even if I die countless times, I'll defeat you. After 3 days and nights of battle, I died 50 times. Nearly all of the team's weapons were broken by me. My level has increased again, which is good news. The boss is also covered in wounds now. It's time to end this battle. I quickly dodge the boss's silk attack. When it attacks me again, I seize the opportunity. I leap up onto its giant leg, then raise my sword high and lunge. Die! I use all my strength to slash at the boss's head, but my sword actually breaks. This is what you get with cheap copied goods. So unreliable. I lose my balance and fall heavily to the ground. The boss roars at me. As I prepare to face death again, a miracle happens. The spot I just struck suddenly shows cracks. These quickly spread throughout its entire body. With an explosion, the boss shatters into countless pieces. At this moment, Sano lies powerlessly on the ground, breathing heavily. Ha 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 ha, I think. I finally did it. Then, numerous level-up notification windows pop up. Congratulations on obtaining the Giant King Spider's reward. After resting, I carry Ikanagasu and prepare to leave this dungeon. But then we're hit by a sudden attack. I look ahead in terror. Numerous level 30 spider offspring are emerging. Damn it, I think. I'm fine, but Ikanagasu is still here. Against so many spiders, all I can do is use my body to protect him. Just as these little spiders pounce, a miracle happens. The front spider is cut in half, and a figure suddenly appears before me. Countless spiders rush toward it, but the mysterious person simply raises their weapon. A terrifying hellfire instantly burns all the spiders to ashes. Hellfire is the highest level of fire magic. Only a handful of people worldwide can use it. If I remember correctly, there's only one user in the island nation. The magic swordsman who uses the witch's blade? The island nation's 5th-ranked hunter? Is it Hunter Nanesi? Are you two the only survivors? She asks, looking at the bodies scattered on the ground, all of them high-level hunters. Low-level Sano not only survived the boss room, but also saved a teammate. Nanesi has to start wondering what exactly happened here. How did you manage this? She asks. Back at the Island Nation Hunter Association headquarters. Unexpectedly, Hunter Nanesi is also the director of Dungeon Immigration Management. After a few simple inquiries, Nanesi says, "This is the Giant King Spider's spider silk." She adds, "Along with other gains from this dungeon, I'll give them to you later. If there's nothing else, you can go." I can hardly believe it's that simple. My team was unregistered, which constitutes illegal dungeon conquest. Can I really just leave like this? Such things happen every day, she explains. Many unregistered teams cause casualties by going into dungeons without permission, all for their own interests. The association has actually tacitly accepted this behavior. Getting this answer, I breathe a sigh of relief and get up to leave. Nanesi picks up the spider silk and calls after me. "You seem to have forgotten this." "No need," I say. "Please pass this and any other gains to my junior." After saying this, I close the door and walk out. Looking at the spider silk in her hand, Nanesi is puzzled. What exactly is this guy hiding? Walking out the door, I can't hold back anymore. I smirk with a triumphant smile. Great, I think. I succeeded. Spider silk. And I now have an infinite supply. The Giant King Spider's spider silk. It can shoot silks like the Giant King Spider, has strong adhesiveness, and a usage level of 40. What the hell is this? I wonder. After finally killing the boss, I get such an item. I'll copy it first. But the moment I touched it, the spider silk vanished right before my eyes. I was completely confused. What just happened? The system notified me. Giant king spider's spider silk absorbed by current skill. Control V ability value increased. I stared in surprise at the text in the system pop-up. My control skill allowed me to copy controlled objects. Control V let me paste them. My skill, now at level 1, had 3 options. This was incredible. I never expected my skill could level up. I immediately clicked on the 3 new skill options for Control C. A new pop-up appeared. Option 1 let me paste copied objects and maintain them for a desired duration. Option 2 allowed me to stitch any objects together within a specific time frame. And Option 3 offered the ability to untangle the giant king spider's silk. This evolved skill was a huge surprise. Now, copied objects wouldn't immediately disappear, even if they left my body. First, I decided to try copying the spider silk for 1 minute. Sure enough, it didn't vanish after leaving my hand. After waiting exactly 1 minute, the spider silk disappeared right on schedule. I was going to be rich. If I set the duration to 1,000 or even 10,000 years, wouldn't that essentially mean it would never disappear? As I thought about the potential gains from the dungeon, I couldn't help but burst out laughing. From today on, I'm a rich man. The best life awaits me. Meanwhile, on the Rainbow Bridge, a huge truck sped along. This was the vehicle transporting the Kalesha Dragon Sword. The transport personnel included Maul Grant, a level 112 fighter, and Ares Hugh, a level 131 mage. Both belonged to the International Hunter Association. This was supposed to be the last stop for the sword's exhibition. Do you plan to take a vacation after this ends? Maul asked Ares. I want to explore the island nation's dungeons. I hope you find treasure this time. Ares, however, wasn't amused. Minding other people's business will only cause trouble, he retorted. Just then, a report crackled over the radio. Currently passing through Rainbow Bridge Dungeon. Communication will be interrupted for about 5 minutes due to electromagnetic interference within the dungeon. Hearing this, Maul glanced out the window. The dungeon, sitting on the sea, felt so romantic to him. Ares, however, felt a sense of unease. Meanwhile, on the other side of the Rainbow Bridge Dungeon, at the immigration office, 2 hunters were on guard duty. Fireball, this job is so boring, one complained. Fireball dismissively glanced at Shinoda Satoru. You're a level 21 rookie, he scoffed. You got this easy job through connections and you're still not satisfied? You should know, 3 weeks ago, a major incident occurred right here. Just then, something strange suddenly rolled to their feet. Looking closely, it was actually a slime. Shinoda Satoru quickly bent down to pick it up. It's even cuter than the ones in dungeons, he remarked. Fireball's face, however, drastically changed upon seeing this. How can a monster appear outside the dungeon? Then a figure suddenly appeared nearby. Fireball looked behind them in terror, only to see a huge goblin swinging a club their way. Blood instantly gushed out. And right now, I was still at the Hunter Association. I was studying my information panel. Thanks to the massive experience gained from the dungeon conquest, I was now almost level 50. Once I hit level 50, I'd be able to team up and conquer ultimate dungeons. Just as I was smugly preparing to use my ability to make some serious money, a group of hunters rushed past me. From their hurried conversation, I quickly gathered that the Rainbow Bridge dungeon was experiencing anomalies and was currently on red alert. What's more, the truck carrying the Kalesha Dragon Sword was on the bridge. Are you kidding me? The Kalesha Dragon Sword is actually there? I thought, stunned. On the roof of the Hunter Association, several aircraft were already on standby. Hunters from the association had all gathered, preparing to provide support. Then, Hunter Nanai steps forward. She announces that the mission's priority is rescuing citizens, and protecting the Kalesha Dragon Sword is only secondary. Just as Nanai prepares to board her aircraft, she spots some commotion in the distance. Looking closer, she realizes it's me, shamelessly trying to follow along. I call out to Hunter Nanai, please let me come along too. I want to save more people, and I can help guide and evacuate citizens. Nanai is surprised to see me. She remembers how I mysteriously survived before, and how I helped her junior, so she agrees to take me along. From other hunters, I learn that the Rainbow Bridge dungeon seems somewhat strange. They had just quelled unrest there 3 weeks ago, and now anomalies are occurring again. Honestly, nothing in this world is surprising anymore. Even collapsed dungeons can collapse again, and each time we have to stop it. We need to prevent the tragedy of 15 years ago from repeating. Back then, global disasters occurred simultaneously. National-level disaster dungeons all collapsed. If monsters aren't properly subjugated, dungeons will collapse due to saturation. During that time, many monsters rushed out of the dungeons and into cities. Massive numbers of citizens were attacked, and cities instantly became hell. I was a survivor of that disaster, but I lost both of my parents. It was then that an otherworldly being appeared before me. It placed the curse of copy-paste skills on me. The being said the curse was a gift, but it came with a 20-year limit. I just don't know if this limit refers to the skill's duration or honor my lifespan. There are still 5 years left until this deadline. If that being's appearance was tied to the global catastrophe, then that means disaster will come again in 5 years, along with its reappearance. Now I've found a way to become stronger. If I can become the strongest hunter, I can prevent the next global disaster and lift this curse on myself. Right now, the Rainbow Bridge is in complete chaos. Explosions can be heard from time to time. Shinoda Satoru watches helplessly as numerous monsters attack citizens. There are just too many enemies. We definitely need more hunters. Then, a goblin attacks from behind. Shinoda Satoru turns and swings his sword, dealing with it. But just as he finishes, another goblin comes from behind with a sneak attack. Fortunately, someone saves him. It's Fireball from before. Thank you, Shinoda says. He adds, you saved me twice today. If you hadn't tackled me earlier, I would have died. However, the other party seems to look down on Shinoda Satoru, clearly thinking he only got in through connections. But Shinoda Satoru silently determines in his heart, Senior, no matter what, I will repay you. Fireball says, we need to get from here to the bridgehead. Quickly rendezvous with the rescue team. Meanwhile, in the center of the Rainbow Bridge, a giant beast is attacking the transport truck. It's actually a level 190 giant bear. One hunter asks, Ares, is this truck really okay? Another replies, Maul, I understand your anxiety. He continues, don't worry, my protection magic is the highest level. Even a level 400 monster can't break my defense. However, an anomaly suddenly occurs. The entire bridge shakes and sways violently. Everyone looks at this scene in disbelief. Even the strongest defenses are useless against this. Just then, the Hunter Association's support aircraft finally arrived. This shouldn't be happening. It's the Rainbow Bridge Dungeon's ultimate boss. A massive, dragon-like monster suddenly emerges from the sea. All units prepare to attack. The next second, the boss breathes dragon fire directly at the bridge. The attack instantly engulfs everything nearby. A huge section of the Rainbow Bridge vanishes, leaving only the boss floating on the sea. From the aircraft, I watch this scene unfold in terror. The boss seems to notice us overhead. It opens its mouth wide, clearly preparing another attack. Another massive dragon's breath shoots out. Moments later, the aircraft explodes. Everyone quickly jumps off to avoid the blast. With the dungeon boss's sudden appearance, plans change immediately. All association hunters are now preparing to take down the boss. They quickly gather their forces. Nanai's then activates her magic, with hellfire continuously pouring from her sword. With a loud shout, countless hellfire blasts shoot from the blade, rushing straight toward the boss. Meanwhile, Sano uses his spider silk to land safely. The primary target is now the Khaleesi dragon sword. Along the way, Sano discovers numerous monster corpses, but no sign of any hunters. As he ponders this, a loud shout rings out. Run! Shinoda Satoru is desperately fighting monsters directly ahead. Behind him is a badly injured Fireball. You need to leave now or you'll die too, Fireball urges. However, Shinoda Satoru refuses to abandon his teammate. You idiot. Do you know why low-level monsters show up in high-level dungeons? Fireball asks. They appear in groups, and their combined strength rivals high-level monsters. If you don't run now, it'll be too late. But it's already too late. They're wolf demons, level 15, individually low-level, but they usually appear in packs. Their combined strength is comparable to high-level monsters. Behind them, countless more wolf demons are approaching. Still, Shinoda Satoru has no regrets. My senior protected me before, Shinoda Satoru thinks. This time, I'll protect them. Sano watches the scene from afar, remembering a time he saved his own junior. His departing steps halt once more. Suddenly, they're surrounded by wolf demons. Shinoda Satoru struggles to resist, but there are simply too many monsters. Just as a wolf demon prepares to pounce on Shinoda Satoru, Sano arrives, tackling the monster away. Are you okay? Sano asks. Shinoda Satoru is surprised by Sano's sudden appearance, but his terror doesn't disappear. Numerous wolf demons are closing in. Thanks for the help, Shinoda Satoru replies. Let's get out of here. That pack of demons is difficult even for high-level hunters to handle. However, Sano just stands quietly in place, a small smile on his face. Oh really? Perfect, he says. Shinoda Satoru is puzzled by these words. As a group of wolf demons pounces toward him, Sano pulls up his system panel. He remains perfectly calm. In an instant, Sano is completely submerged within the wolf demon pack. Shinoda Satoru was terrified by what he saw. But then, countless spider silks suddenly bound all the wolf demons. Sano emerged from the wolf pack. The effect effect was impressive. The spider silk continuously contracted, binding the demons tighter and tighter. A huge spectacle unfolded before their eyes. Shinoda Satoru watched it all in shock, followed by the system's level-up notification sound. What kind of skill was that? He took down so many monsters in one go. But now, Sano faced a dilemma. If he left the two here, they'd probably be attacked by monsters again. Sano had important matters to attend to. He couldn't just drag two people along with him. What should he do? He could only do one thing. Sano then pulled out a bottle containing a red liquid. Fireball took the bottle, looking confused. "This is a mid-level potion," Sano explained. "Taking it can heal your injuries." Fireball was surprised to hear this. "Why are you giving me something so precious?" he asked. "Because it's a senior's responsibility to safely bring their juniors back." Shinoda Satoru was instantly moved. "Thank you so much," he said. "I'll definitely repay your kindness." Sano was about to leave. He suddenly turned to Shinoda Satoru, a silly smile on his face. "If you want to repay me," Sano said, "could you tell me which way the International Hunter Association's transport vehicle is? I have a terrible sense of direction." Shinoda Satoru was stunned. He hadn't expected his savior to be directionally challenged. Meanwhile, on the other side of Rainbow Bridge, a group of mysterious people were rushing toward the center. The boss's appearance was completely unexpected. One wrong move, and they'd lose everything. Nace and the association would prioritize taking down the boss. That's because subjugating the boss was the fastest way to calm the dungeon. They planned to use this opportunity to steal the Calicia Dragon Sword. Back at the center of Rainbow Bridge, the giant monster bear was still frantically attacking. Then, Ares cast another sleep spell. The giant bear fell to the ground, immediately falling asleep. "Put him to sleep again?" someone wondered. He's a hunter, but clearly a pacifist. Just then, a round iron ball flew toward them. Fortunately, Maul noticed it in time. He cut the flying iron ball in half with one strike. "I knew you'd come," Maul said. This had happened several times during the Come Out Bandits touring exhibition. Then, a group of black-clothed figures emerged from the darkness. One of them, with sharp senses, challenged, "I'd really like to spar with you." With that, he leapt forward. Maul quickly raised his sword to block. "Don't underestimate guard work," Maul warned. Maul swung his sword, but the opponent easily dodged and retreated. Maul immediately pursued them. Ares hurriedly called out to stop him, but it was too late. Maul suddenly lost control of his body, and blood began to spurt. "What's happening to me?" he gasped. Ares quickly ran over. "Those guys used poison pills," he explained. "Once poisoned, they block magical power absorption in the body." Poison pills were clearly items banned by the International Hunter Association. Even the usually calm Ares couldn't help but rage. "I'll make you regret this," he declares. Magic activates in his hand, but it causes no damage at all. The person in black mocks him. "A mage who can't use magic should just die." As he says this, a large fireball gathers in his hand. Just as he's about to fire, the black-clad person's head is ripped clean off. The attacker? It's actually the giant bear. It turns out the mage's earlier spell awakened this monster. The people in black look tiny compared to the giant bear. With a thunderous roar, the giant bear wipes out all the remaining black-clad individuals. Seeing this, their leader immediately flees. Miscalculation, he thinks. Better retreat this time. The giant bear, having dealt with the black-clad group, slowly approaches Ares and Maul. "Can you make him sleep again?" Ares asks. "No," Maul replies. "Now I'm also affected by toxins, blocking my magical power." "I knew your pacifism would get you in trouble someday," Ares says. "I just didn't expect it to be today." "Yes," Maul agrees, "but you're different." With that, he charges forward. A magic circle unfolds in his hand. Seeing this, Maul shouts loudly, "Come back, you'll die!" He then coughs up a mouthful of blood. Forcibly channeling magic to break through the toxins causes him unbearable pain. He wonders, is it still no good? By the time he reaches the giant bear's feet, his magic is completely exhausted. What awaits him are the giant bear's sharp claws. "Maul, I'm sorry," he whispers. Just as the giant bear's claws lash out, countless spider silks appear before Ares. They instantly bind the attacking claws, then wrap around the monster's entire body. The giant bear struggles relentlessly, but it's no use. It's quickly bound like a giant dumpling, then stops moving. Ares stares at this scene in utter disbelief. This is Sano's masterpiece. Sano's group of 3 had just arrived, and they hadn't expected their plan to actually work so smoothly. Ares and Maul are immediately wary of Sano's group. They suspect these are just more bandits here to steal the sword. No matter how Sano tries to explain, Ares and Maul don't believe him. It's not until Shinoda Satoru shows his ID that they start to listen. "We are hunters from the Island Nation Hunter Association," he explains. "We're responsible responsible for managing the Rainbow Bridge dungeon entry and exit. Seeing their change of heart, Sano then offers more help. Anyway, heal your injuries first, he says, taking out 2 mid-level healing potions. Only then do Ares and Maul finally lower their guard. Just then, several aircraft fly overhead. Great, someone exclaims. New support teams have arrived. We're finally saved. Meanwhile, Hunter Nennis is still locked in battle with the dungeon boss. Just then, the boss enters its 3rd phase. Hunter Nennis immediately stops attacking. Watch out for the wide-range shockwave, he warns. Our reinforcements have arrived. We must buy time for citizen evacuation. Can the dungeon collapse be stopped like this? Hunter Nennis, long time no see. The newcomer is Shirosaki Masato, a level 503 dark mage. Hunter Nennis looks back in surprise. How are you here? He asks. Shirosaki doesn't intend to explain. He just raises his magic staff. Magic activate. A huge magic circle then appears before the boss. Seeing this, Nennis immediately tells him to stop. If that magic can't defeat him, the consequences will be unthinkable, Nennis warns. However, Shirosaki has no intention of stopping. If you worry about these small things, nothing can be accomplished, Shirosaki retorts. Leave it to me this time. He then shouts, Dark lightning! Immediately, the boss is engulfed by terrifying black lightning, screaming in pain. Seeing this, Nennis quickly shouts, Everyone, run! The boss's massive body falls. The impact makes the Rainbow Bridge sway violently from side to side. After all the chaos, the bridge is utterly devastated. Sano is grateful to have survived. I thought I was going to die again, he thinks, looking down at the broken bridge below. Thankfully, everyone is okay, and the transport vehicle is safe. However, Sano is startled when he looks to the other side. A row of sharp, giant teeth suddenly appears. Sano is immediately too scared to make a sound, worried that any movement might wake this monster. Just then, Shirosaki flies over. Sano is surprised to see the emblem on his chest. It's the Future Guild, ranked 3rd in the island nation. Shirosaki notices the giant bear tied up nearby. He lightly touches the spider silk binding it. The entire silk immediately begins to crack. Even the giant bear itself is torn into countless pieces. Sano is shocked beyond belief by this scene. Then, he's drawn by the sound of a system notification. Massive level-up prompts appear before Sano, but there's no item reward for killing the giant bear. Shirosaki, standing nearby, also hears the level-up notification. These spider silks were actually made by you, kid, he says. I accidentally took the giant bear's reward. Take it back. I don't like stealing from others. Just then, an ace hunter arrives. She's very surprised to see Sano. We need to leave now, she immediately says. If that guy wakes up, he'll immediately go berserk and launch wide-range attacks, she explains. Sano asks in confusion, why not defeat him while he's down? Unfortunately, that's impossible, she replies. High-level bosses have multiple phases. Raids must be conducted phase by phase. According to the boss's abilities, when its health drops to 1/3, it will use its ultimate skill. Whether it's berserking or area attacks, they're all full range. Right now, we're just entering the 3rd phase. The boss will have a barrier protecting itself. It continuously absorbs surrounding magic power, making any attacks during this period ineffective. Just then, the boss's eyes suddenly open. It opens its mouth wide, roaring in fury. It has awakened even earlier than expected. Shirosaki turns to look at Sano. Farewell, don't blame me if you die, Shirosaki says. After that, he rushes toward the boss with Nanase. They immediately engage in fierce battle once again. Sano immediately moves to rescue everyone. Everyone, the situation is urgent now, he shouts. The boss has entered its 3rd phase and is about to launch a wide-range attack. But we no longer have time to escape from here, he adds. Everyone is shocked to hear this, so I must immediately obtain the Kalesia dragon sword to defeat the boss. I promise to return it afterward, Sano assures them. However, Morgan doesn't believe such nonsense at all. Although you've saved us twice with your low-level hunter status, even if you got that sword, you couldn't possibly defeat this ultimate boss. Moreover, that sword can't be used many times in its current state, Morgan continues. Sano asks, so it still won't work? Just then, Ares speaks up. We need a large amount of magic power to unlock the trailer's seal, he explains. However, we currently can't absorb any magic power due to the bandits' toxins. This is perfect, I said. I'm known as the mobile magic charging station in this dungeon because I have an infinite magic generation skill. The moment my ability activated, Ares was instantly filled with magic power. The seal on the transport vehicle broke immediately. Seeing this, Sano immediately jumped inside. I'll definitely keep my promise to protect all of you. Ares asked, why would you do this? It's okay, someone replied. He only restrained the giant bear earlier. He didn't kill it. Is that what moved you? Someone else wondered. Women truly are incomprehensible creatures. After jumping onto the transport vehicle, I was extremely excited. The Kalesia dragon sword was finally within reach. But just then, the bandit from before suddenly appeared behind me, blade raised to strike. By the time Sano realized the danger, it was already too late. The bandit directly stabbed him in the chest. Sano immediately fell inside the vehicle. The treasure sword was finally his. As the bandit slowly opened the treasure chest, a pitch-black long sword lay within. A system message popped up. When the user dies, the giant foot spider's silk will randomly dissolve. True to the message, the spider's silk broke, and the entire transport vehicle plunged into the water, continuously sinking into the pitch-black depths. Are you sure you want to claim the object? As the assassin reached for the Calicia dragon sword, Sano took the opportunity to revive and stand up. He then stabbed the assassin through from behind with a single sword. I'm the kind of person who repays kindness with kindness and revenge with revenge. Sano had finally gotten the Calicia dragon sword. He immediately used his Control-C skill to copy it. However, a system warning popped up. Due to the user's level not meeting the target requirements, the object cannot be copied, it stated. Sano looked at the system window in disbelief. How is this possible? Logically, this sword's level requirement is 30, and I'm over level 50 now. I should definitely meet the requirements. But just then, another accident occurred. The assassin from before wasn't actually dead. He viciously struck Sano with his blade, sending blood spattering. I almost brought shame to the Blood Tower Guild's assassins. If I didn't have healing skills, I would have died long ago. The sword fell back into my hands. Unfortunately, I'm the type who forgets kindness but returns revenge tenfold. This time you won't have another chance, he said, thrusting his sword towards Sano. Damn it, I've come so far, Sano thought. Suddenly, the Calicia dragon sword fused with its user. It began copying the sword's value absorption ability. Absorption? What is this thing? Sano wondered. However, the system notification wasn't finished yet. It continued. Copying Calicia dragon sword's level and absorbing. Copying Calicia dragon sword's passive skill. 35% defense increase. Absorbing. Copying Calicia dragon sword's unique skill. 1. Vampirism. Absorbing. Copying Calicia dragon sword's unique skill. And 2. Berserking. Absorbing. All abilities of the Calicia dragon sword were completely absorbed. A new notification appeared. When the user's health drops below 25%, the Calicia dragon sword's protection mode is triggered. Unique skill. 2. Berserking will be forcibly executed. At this moment, the Rainbow Bridge boss was about to unleash its ultimate skill. Its wide area attack began. The situation looked dire, but just then, a massive energy burst from the seabed. It directly pierced through the boss's entire body. Shirosaki and Inasa Hunter stared at the scene in disbelief. A system message flashed. Boss defeated successfully. Dungeon cleared. Later, the Island Nation Hunter Association reported, this afternoon at 4 p.m., the Rainbow Bridge dungeon outbreak caused major casualties and disasters. Thanks to the Hunter's assistance, the dungeon was quickly pacified. The president immediately cut off the video. He told everyone, stop making those expressions. Takuchi asked, didn't we successfully kill the boss this time? Shinoda then interjected, but I heard the Rainbow Bridge dungeon was just pacified 3 months ago. He added, even if it was pacified, it's possible for it to erupt again. Someone barked, shut up all of you! How exactly are you managing things? Dungeons keep erupting consecutively in such a short time. Nain, a hunter sitting to the side, had no interest in these arguments. However, trouble soon found her. Another voice pressed, what I want to know is this. Ultimate bosses usually need over 5 months to recover, right? Did Nain lie earlier? 3 months ago there was no successful strategy to defeat it at all. Nain, who wanted no part of their squabbling, grew furious as they started pointing fingers at her. With a loud slap, she shattered the conference table with one palm. Just as conflict was about to erupt, the Hunter Association president immediately stepped forward to mediate. My staff was rude, he stated. I apologize on his behalf. He then warned, acting like this can get you killed. But seeing that the others wouldn't back down, Nene finally spoke. As they say, she began, hearing is believing, but seeing is truth. No matter what I say, you won't believe me. That shockwave just now was the reward from defeating the Rainbow Bridge boss 3 months ago. If you don't believe me, you can ask the person next to me, Nene continued. Also, I'll take responsibility for investigating the cause of this outbreak, and will hold the negligent guild responsible this time. Just then, Moore and Ares walked in. We're from the International Hunter Association, Moore announced. We're here with an important announcement. The Calicia dragon sword has been stolen. Please prioritize assisting us in recovering the sword. A voice from the room questioned, wait, I heard that you unlocked the transport vehicle's seal yourselves when you were attacked. Moore replied, that's because we accepted your request for a hunter's assistance. Shinoda Satoru from a major guild and Sano from the Hunter Association were present at the time. Everyone was shocked to hear this. President Fuwa quickly pulled out his phone to search, but found no information about Sano. Only Nane knew Sano's true identity. Did Sano really steal the sword? Of course not. The Calicia dragon sword had already been taken by the assassin. He had handed it over to the mastermind, Kurosaki. Just holding the sword boosts one's level by 200%. The longsword identifies users through runes on the handle. To Kurosaki, spending hundreds of millions to cause the dungeon outbreak was still worth it. Just as the assassin reached for his payment, Kurosaki killed him. The fewer people who know secrets, the better. The Calicia dragon sword's durability decreased by 2 points, leaving 8 points remaining. Kurosaki looked at the sword in his hand and smiled. It wouldn't be any fun if it broke before he could get it repaired. Suddenly, Sano woke from his nightmare with a start. The mark on his neck emitted a pale blue light. "This hourglass countdown is acting up again," Sano cursed. Seeing Sano wake up, Shinoda Satoru was overjoyed. "I was so afraid you'd never wake up, senior," he exclaimed. "Don't look at that guy like that. He actually saved you. He mobilized many hunters from the Great Sage Guild to find you. They finally found you unconscious on a beach. Oh right, you probably don't know this yet. Shinoda Satoru is actually the son of Great Sage Guild President Shinoda Shiro. No way." In the Hunter Association president's office, a question was asked. "Did you really witness Hunter Sano's death personally?" The reply, "Yes, we saw it with our own eyes. Now that he's come back to life, aren't you surprised?" The response was calm. "I've seen stranger things since becoming a hunter. Please assign several high-level hunters to help us track the sword. Then have Hunter Nanais coordinate with you on this operation. Not just anyone can use the Calicia dragon sword. It has runes carved into it that can determine the user's level. I can sense and track these runes, and I felt it being used about an hour ago. Before it was stolen, its durability was 10. Now the durability has decreased. We must find it before it disappears completely. 15 years ago, after the great disaster, Ari's mother suddenly vanished. The Calicia dragon sword is the only clue. It's actually a relic belonging to Ari's mother. This is all the information Nanais has investigated so far. However, Nanais is certain that Moore and Ares are definitely hiding some secrets. Even Hunter Sano seems to be concealing something. At this moment, Shinoda Shiro suddenly approached Nanase. "Planning to come back?" Shiro asked. "The major guilds would welcome you back anytime." Nanase replied, "Major guilds should establish proper management companies, not just focus on making money from dungeons. Look at today's Rainbow Bridge outbreak incident. Once I discover it was caused by management negligence, I'll hold them accountable." Shiro asked, "Is that your reason for not coming back?" Nanase replied, "The association still has many matters that need my attention, father." Shiro sighed. Fine. My daughter has grown up and has things she wants to do." Meanwhile, at Central Hospital, Sano sat alone on the rooftop, checking his information panel. Sano's information panel showed level 76, plus 200 bonus levels, skill proficiency level 2, profession proficiency level 9. He thought, although I couldn't copy the Calicia dragon sword itself, all its abilities seem to have been absorbed by me. Berserking, especially, is incredibly powerful. He reviewed Berserking's details. All users' ability values and level double. Duration, 1 minute. Cooldown, 1 day. The activation condition was forcibly activated when user's health is below 25%. He remembered it even directly killed a boss over level 400 back then. The boss was successfully defeated. He obtained the dungeon clearing reward. He also got the boss skill Shockwave, and his Control C skill evolved. The Shockwave skill was absorbed and converted into 2 new skills, Inherent Vibration and Inherent Wave. His Giant Foot Spider skill also upgraded to level 2. Now, when using Giant Foot Spider, he could simultaneously use Inherent Wave and Vampirism. My Copy-Paste skill has evolved to absorb and fuse, he thought. This is amazing. In the elevator, Sano was laughing to himself. A little girl nearby wondered, "Is something wrong with that, uncle?" Sano, meanwhile, was thinking, "I just tested Inherent Vibration. It's incredibly powerful." As he thought this, Sano couldn't help but flash a sinister smile, making the other people in the elevator tremble with fear. The little girl whispered, "Uncle looks so scary when he's having an episode." Just as Sano was stepping out of the elevator, a familiar voice caught his attention. "I'm so glad you're okay." Then he heard, "Didn't I tell you to run away immediately when there's danger?" Sano quietly approached nearby, wondering who Hunter Nanais was visiting at the hospital. "Sister, I'm sorry for making you worry," a voice said. "Nanais and Shinoda Satoru are actually siblings?" Sano's jaw dropped in shock. After the siblings chatted for a few moments, Hunter Nanais began asking about Sano's whereabouts. Hearing this from a distance, Sano immediately hid. "Did they discover I impersonated the Hunter Association to steal the sword?" he thought. "I need to sneak away before anyone notices." However, he was caught red-handed by Moore. "Thief, where are you running?" Moore demanded. Sano thought, "Looks like there's no escape." Moore grabbed Sano's collar forcefully, slamming him hard against the wall. "You actually dared to lie about being from the Hunter Association?" Moore didn't believe Sano, no matter how he explained. "We clearly saw you get killed, but now you're alive and kicking. How can you say you're not with those bandits?" With that, Moore drew his longsword, preparing to use a special technique. Ares quickly stepped forward to stop him. However, Moore had completely lost his temper, raising his sword to stab at Sano. Just as the blade was about to hit Sano, his inherent vibration skill activated. Light burst from Sano's fingertips. The moment it touched the blade, Moore's longsword shattered like glass. Moore stared in disbelief, watching his weapon instantly break apart. At that moment, the siblings were drawn by the commotion and witnessed the entire scene. That was the Rainbow Bridge boss's shockwave skill just now, they realized. Could he be the one who killed the boss? 15 years ago, disasters simultaneously struck worldwide. Large numbers of monsters burst out of dungeons, pouring into cities. Many citizens were attacked, and cities instantly turned into hell. Amidst the ruins, Arita encountered an interdimensional being, which granted her a special ability. Initially, Arita thought her awakening as a hunter had simply given her a rather unique skill. Her skill worked just like a computer operation, allowing her to restore any object to its original state. This could range from healing wounds to mending broken items. Arita used this ability to restore many scraps, earning some money. Occasionally, she even acted as a healer, helping people recover from injuries. However, she wasn't satisfied with her earning speed. "I need money," she thought. "I need lots of money." Her parents had fallen into a coma during the Great Disaster. Arita tried to use her skill to restore them to their previous state, but it required massive amounts of magic power. Without enough magic, she could only heal minor injuries. Only hunters could absorb magic power themselves. To get what she needed, Arita joined a hunter team, handling their logistics and sometimes acting as their healer. As an ordinary person who hadn't awakened, it was like facing lions empty-handed, constantly accompanied by danger. She was just trying to get a share of magic power. Even so, her companions often mocked her. During one dungeon raid, their team suffered devastating losses. Only a badly wounded Arita survived, looking at her dying teammates. She didn't heal them. Instead, she collected the equipment they had dropped. "I'm sick of this life," she declared. Just then, a man suddenly appeared before Arita. "I heard you need magic power," he said. "Make a contract with me. I'm called Kurosaki." And just like that, Arita Sara was taken away by him, eventually becoming a member of the idol group IF. "I really envy you," someone remarked, "being able to eat so much delicious food 3 times a day while maintaining your figure. What a blessing." "I still remember the first time I saw you," Kurosaki continued. "There was a guy about to die right in front of you, but you only cared about looting equipment from him. That's when I knew we were the same type. To avoid misunderstandings," Kurosaki added, "let me state up front. As long as this contract exists, I won't interfere with whatever you do." "Then why do you want me to go to the dungeon with you this time?" Arita asked. Kurosaki took out the Kaleshia dragon sword. "To repair it and use your ability to restore it," he explained, "requires massive amounts of magic power. I guarantee this is the last time I'll ask you to go to a dungeon." Hearing this, Arita Sara became extremely excited. "Are you saying the infinite item generation is in that dungeon?" she asked. "Yes, we found it," Kurosaki confirmed. "Although our contract is to avoid having you go into dungeons as much as possible, this time you must come with me, and I promise it will be the last time." Sano and his group. Soon after, everyone arrived at the Future Guild headquarters. The person Nanasa mentioned was actually Shirosaki. Even though the Future Guild is the country's second largest, and its reputation isn't the best, their dungeon strategy, management, and intelligence are still considered world-class. Shirosaki walked into the office to meet them. According to the Future Guild's investigation, Blood Tower is a very mysterious organization. They've recently set their sights on the Gargoyle Snow Mountain dungeon. This particular dungeon was discovered 15 years ago and has never been successfully cleared. Data shows it ranks as the most troublesome dungeon, with only 2 strategy groups and 1 collection group ever having attempted it. Plus, there's a hidden boss, the Giant Gargoyle. Defeating this boss reportedly gives a hidden reward called the Giant's Heart, also known as Infinite Generation. Infinite Generation? While I don't need it, it's certainly a powerful item. But what does this have to do with the Kaleshia dragon sword? Are they planning to use the sword to defeat the dungeon boss? To clear this dungeon, they're secretly recruiting on the Dark Silk. Their ad reads, "Recruiting Gargoyle Snow Mountain Strategy Group, 30 members, level 90 and above." The recruiter is the Blood Tower Guild. Their behavior is extremely vile. They frequently assassinate dungeon expedition teams in secret and plunder items. This guild is truly steeped in darkness. At that moment, Nanasa stepped forward and asked, "Since you already have this Giant's Heart project, are you planning to form a team to clear Gargoyle Snow Mountain yourself? We must go immediately. Shirosaki, do you have a strategy group that can be mobilized right away?" Shirosaki grumbled to himself. Damn it, how did I get dragged along by that woman? Despite his reluctance, he brought his strategy group to the Snow Mountain, which of course included Sano and the others. Inside Gargoyle Snow Mountain, they encountered rock giants. These monsters were level 40 with low attack power, but their numbers were huge. Even though they weren't high level, they could respawn infinitely as long as their cores remained intact, making them extremely troublesome. I really didn't want to come to this hellish place, Shirosaki muttered. He raised the magic staff in his hand, and immediately, large numbers of gargoyles took flight. As his dark magic activated, the airborne gargoyles rapidly converged toward the center. Explode! He commanded. The next second, a massive explosion rang out, and the gargoyles instantly turned to rubble. After clearing the area, he turned to his teammates. Remember to destroy the cores that fall down, he instructed. The future guild hunters instantly relaxed, knowing their captain was on the job. It's so easy, a team member exclaimed. Just like that, Shirosaki relied on his dark magic to continuously clear out the monsters. Sano witnessed all this from a distance, feeling completely speechless. He had been so resistant earlier, but now he'd become the most enthusiastic person here. According to Ares' investigation, this dungeon should be an inductive type. Dungeons are generally divided by areas. For ordinary dungeons, if you're familiar with the routes, you can bypass some areas and directly challenge the final boss. But in inductive dungeons, you must clear each area in order. If you fail midway, hidden areas simply won't appear. That means we must defeat a certain number of gargoyles here before the boss will even show up. The boss will only appear in the hidden area afterward, and they needed to be fast. If the reward for defeating this boss was the key to entering that hidden area, then they had to get it before the Blood Tower Guild. Sano, however, didn't care about any hidden boss. He had only one purpose for coming here, to help Ares get back the Khaleesi Dragon Sword. Sano activated Control 5, unleashing giant foot spider silk. Instantly, countless spider silk entangled the gargoyles. As the spider silk took hold, Inherent Wave activated simultaneously, instantly crushing the gargoyles to pieces. He even struck a cool pose. Real men never look back at explosions. Meanwhile, Ares used ice magic, instantly freezing all the gargoyles ahead. Combined with Moore's slashing attacks, they easily defeated these monsters. Still, the gargoyles were proving to be really troublesome. Still, several hunters couldn't keep up and took heavy hits. Fortunately, Nanai's arrived just in time. She slashed off a gargoyle's arm with one strike, then raised her palm to charge up, hitting it with a shockwave. This instantly blasted the monster to powder. Nanai's then turned to ask if the hunters were injured, but then she spotted a familiar face in the crowd. Shinoda Satoru, what are you doing here? It was her younger brother, Shinoda Satoru. He immediately retorted, why can't I be here? I'm an official member, here to support Sano-senpai. Nanai shot back, what kind of nonsense is that? It turned out that when Sano requested to plan the dungeon run, Shinoda Satoru had thrown a tantrum to come along. He'd cried, I don't care, I want to go too. Shinoda continued, what if Sano-senpai gets lost by himself again? I can help guide him. Sano was pretty helpless against this and finally agreed. But there's one condition, Sano said. You can only come as a member of my team. Hearing this, Nanais felt a headache coming on. What are two low-level hunters doing? Forming a rookie team like that, she wondered. However, Shinoda Satoru immediately jumped to Sano's defense. Don't underestimate Sano-senpai, Shinoda insisted. I personally witnessed Sano-senpai cut the Rainbow Bridge dungeon boss in half. Recalling the various signs from these past few days, Nanais admitted this was indeed possible, but she still wondered, how exactly did he do it? Meanwhile, on the other side of the dungeon, the Blood Tower Guild was also quickly clearing out gargoyles. Kurosaki and Arita Sara were leisurely resting near a cave entrance. Kurosaki commented, we don't need to participate in this kind of mob clearing. We just use stealth skills to hide among the strategy group. Arita Sara replied, while stealth skills are convenient, we have to be careful of high-level hunters. Their perception is often very sharp. Kurosaki then turned to Arita Sara. How's the magic absorption going? This is a high-grade magic transmitter, Arita Sara explained, and it was very expensive. She continued, you need to defeat 100 low-level monsters to fill it up. In the previous Rainbow Bridge dungeon, I used 10 of these to trigger an outbreak. Restoring the Khaleesi Dragon Sword will require about twice that amount, she added. Arita Sara then stated, so you want to restore this sword to use it to defeat the hidden boss here? She continued, from what I understand, there's a very powerful barrier in this hidden dungeon, and the only way to break it is with the Khaleesi Dragon Sword. I'm curious where you got this information from, she pressed. However, Kurosaki wasn't planning to answer that question. You just need to restore what I want, he said firmly. Don't worry too much about the details. Arita Sara thought to herself, your eyes eyes are so scary. She silently resolved, as long as this contract exists, I don't care what Kurosaki does. As long as I can get enough magic power to restore my parents, I'm willing to do anything. Last night, after they defeated about 200 gargoyles, a mutation occurred. The ground began to crack, and countless gargoyle fragments flew forward. A terrifying monster stared at them from the darkness. Suddenly, a huge monster appeared before everyone. It was the Curveball, a gargoyle snow mountain boss, level 150. The boss extended its giant hand toward them. Damn it, someone cursed. This boss is way too big. Just then, Kurosaki stepped forward. He hit the boss with dark magic, instantly shattering it to pieces. Amazing, someone exclaimed. He finished it with just one hit. The surrounding debris immediately began converging toward the center. The two hunters nearby froze in fear. At this point, the boss had basically recovered. Oh no! Kurosaki hurriedly used dark magic again, shattering it once more. However, the core remained intact. Just then, Sano seized the opportunity. He directly used giant foot spider silk on the core. Countless strands of spider silk wound toward it. However, the speed and strength were too weak to stop the boss's recovery. The boss now seemed even more powerful. Damn it, someone cursed. Each recovery absorbs the surrounding gargoyle debris. We need to think of something fast. Just then, Nini swung her spear using hellfire and charged straight at the boss. However, it had no effect whatsoever. Damn it, we can't melt its core. I knew it. Don't let this boss fool you. It acts all high and mighty. In fact, the middle boss is still the most troublesome part of this entire dungeon raid. You trigger its appearance by defeating a certain number of gargoyles. But here's the kicker. The boss can also repair itself using gargoyle debris. This self-repair is the terrifying aspect of these inductive dungeons. Most ordinary hunter teams would have already fled in panic, or worse, been completely wiped out. This monster can easily rival the ultimate boss of many ordinary dungeons. There are only two ways to defeat it. Either destroy its core, or melt all the gargoyle debris it uses to repair itself. Both options involve an enormous amount of work. After just a few strikes, Nanase was already sweating profusely. Then, the boss revived right behind her. Nanase spun around, using sheer willpower to unleash hellfire once more, completely melting the debris. Sano watched anxiously from the sidelines. Sano knew his Kalisha dragon sword could solve this problem easily. However, using it would expose him to Ares and the others. Suddenly, Sano had an idea. He pulled an item he'd obtained earlier from his system space. The item was called the Giant Bear's Foot. It had two main skills, one to control any object for a period of time, and another to enter and damage any object. Sano immediately used Control 5 to absorb it. He gained new abilities. Skill 1 would make his spider silk much more solid when used together. Skill 2 would allow him to enter a target's body and absorb 15% of their health and magic power. Without hesitation, Sano charged toward the boss. Now, there was a chance. Meanwhile, Nanis was still desperately melting gargoyle debris. Even a powerful hunter like Nanis couldn't use hellfire indefinitely. If this kept up, she'd be in serious danger. Just as Nanis reached her limit, the boss directly extended its giant hand toward her. But at that critical moment, countless strands of spider silk suddenly shot out, binding the boss like a mummy. It was just in time. Everyone watched the scene unfold in disbelief. Sano urgently called out to Shirosaki, requesting another attack. He needed Shirosaki to strike while he focused on stopping the core's movement. Shirosaki didn't hesitate, immediately activating his dark magic. The boss was shattered to pieces once more. The moment the core appeared, countless strands of spider silk instantly wrapped around it, sealing it tightly. This blocked any contact between the core and the surrounding debris. It was a success. Shirosaki couldn't believe his eyes. They had actually managed to trap a high-level boss using such low-level items. Everyone cheered at the incredible sight. Not far from the battlefield, Kurosaki and Aritasara had been watching, planning to swoop in and reap the benefits. However, Sano's sudden use of spider silk had completely disrupted their strategy. "Stop collecting magic power," Aritasara ordered. "Advance the plan. Prepare for combat operations." Immediately, all the Hidden Blood Tower guild hunters began to move. Because of that strange guy, things had taken an unexpected turn. Now seizing the core would be very troublesome. It looks like I'll have to act personally. Just as Sano asked who should destroy the core, everyone unanimously agreed. Since you captured it, you should destroy it. Sano didn't refuse. After all, he really needed that reward. With one swift sword thrust, the core instantly shattered. The moving gargoyle was finally defeated. Instantly, countless level-up notification sounds rang out for everyone. A system notification confirmed, "You destroyed the moving gargoyle's core. You received a reward, the key to close the heart. This key lets you open the dark door that seals the giant's heart. You also instantly obtained the key to a hidden area." Sano's level skyrocketed from 85 to 285, along with his skill proficiency reaching level 5 and profession proficiency hitting level 10. "This is amazing," Amazing, Sano thought. With the sword's effect, I'm now level 285, just 15 levels away from becoming an advanced hunter at level 300, Sano laughed triumphantly. Meanwhile, Shirasaki, watching from behind, was completely baffled. He wondered, isn't he just a level 85 rookie? What's there to be so happy about? He scoffed. Who just assisted a rookie in catching the boss? Are you kidding me? An advanced hunter like me assisting a rookie? You must be seeing things. Just then, huge black pillars suddenly erupted from the ground. Everyone looked on in confusion. More identical black pillars continued to appear all around them. The pillars were covered with mysterious runes. Everyone, get away from here quickly. But it was too late. The area surrounded by the stone pillars exploded violently. All the nearby hunters were caught in the blast. After the explosion, the future guild hunters lay severely injured. A figure emerged from the smoke and dust. The figure spoke. In this world, there's truly nothing money can't accomplish. As long as you abandon your conscience, victory becomes so simple. He then added, found you. And the figure issued a command. Dispel King Giant Foot Orb's web. The web began to dissipate. From within, Sano immediately flew out. He spotted the masked man holding the Calicia dragon sword. Sano immediately raised his sword and charged forward. Hand over the sword, he demanded. However, his attack was like an egg hitting a rock. The masked man simply remarked, you're quite clever, the masked man continued. Not only did you use the web to defeat the boss, but you also successfully withstood the explosion's impact. You've completely disrupted my plan. With that, he swung his sword down at Sano. The sword struck the ground with a vicious slash. Bastard! Stop it! Nanai screamed, watching the scene anxiously. Completely losing her reason, she raised her spear and unleashed her strongest skill, Hell's Fuse. At that moment, Ares noticed her erratic behavior and frantically tried to stop her, but it was too late. A terrifying hellfire shot straight toward Kurosaki. When the smoke cleared, everyone was shocked to see Nanai severely injured instead. Seeing this, Shirasaki anxiously shouted, quickly, use recovery skills. Ares immediately intervened. Master Shirasaki, he warned, you cannot use magic. During the explosion just now, the air was filled with toxic gas. It prevents us from properly absorbing magic power. This is the Blood Tower Guild's usual trick. Just then, black liquid began emerging from the ground. Kurosaki then reappeared in front of everyone, completely unharmed. This is impossible, someone exclaimed. It's shadow movement. That guy can actually use the highest level skill in the stealth system. Kurosaki approached the dying Sano once more. He noticed the boss key had fallen nearby. As he picked it up, the key to close the heart transferred to him. Kurosaki thought, objective achieved. However, he had no intention of leaving. He directly grabbed Sano's neck and slammed him heavily against a nearby stone pillar. This guy must die here, Kurosaki snarled. My thoughts are the same as yours. I never expected the one who stole the sword to be such scum as you. With that, he quietly activated his web skill, wrapping Kurosaki until he was completely covered. Then, using the King Giant Foot Orb's web, he triggered the Giant Bear Chain skill. Moments later, the webs grew sharp spikes, coiling tightly until they formed a massive garlic-shaped bulb. This is the consequence of stealing my sword. But when the web dissolved, Sano was shocked. There was nothing inside. Just then, Kurosaki emerged from behind him. I was careless. This is the first time I've seen such a skill. If my shadows hadn't been inside too, I would have died. With that, he prepared to deliver a fatal blow to Sano. Do you know my nickname? Everyone used to call me the Moving Magic Charging Station. Even though this is the first time I'm using it like this, there shouldn't be any problems. Are those your last words? Goodbye then. Suddenly, Kurosaki felt endless magic power gathering within his body. He didn't know what was happening, but it felt just right. Let me end the Blood Tower Guild. Instantly, a huge orb of light condensed in the air. Kurosaki watched, confused. That's actually Kurosaki's wide area magic. Where did he get the magic power to unleash such large-scale magic? My shadow movement is being countered. Can't I escape? This is troublesome. I can only do this then. Sarah, now. Roger that. Immediately, all the boxes around Sarah opened. Countless magic power flew from the boxes, condensing into a massive orb in the air. A command echoed, restore the Gargoyle Snow Mountain maze to its initial state. Suddenly, the entire snow mountain howled with fierce winds, instantly covered in terrifying air currents. Fortunately, Kurosaki quickly activated a barrier, protecting everyone inside. Amidst the raging air currents, gargoyle debris began to gather, slowly assembling itself. They've revived again. What's going on? Has the maze been initialized? Dense swarms of gargoyles poured out once more. A massive gargoyle clenched its fist, attacking and instantly appearing before Kurosaki. Damn it! There's still poison gas here that interferes with magic power absorption. I must use a barrier to protect everyone, but if I do that, I can't deal with the gargoyles. Staying in the barrier will only lead to our doom. As Kurosaki struggled with this, Nanase stepped forward, hitting the gargoyle directly with a fierce hellfire. Kurosaki was very surprised. Hunter Nanase, how can you still use magic power? Didn't you hear what Sano just said? Moving magic charging station can infinitely generate magic power and share it with companions. This is said to be Sano's unique skill. That's impossible. Only mage-type hunters can do such things, and Sano isn't one at all. Super high-level hunters like me and Nanase need massive amounts of magic power to activate skills. And it's not just me. All members present have had their magic power instantly refilled by him. I've never heard of any skill that infinitely generates magic power. If it's true, then instead of searching for the giant's heart, we should just invite Sano to join our guild. I didn't expect the Blood Tower Guild could initialize mazes. That would explain why the Rainbow Bridge maze has been continuously rioting in such a short time. The question now is, how many times can they use this ability? I don't think they can use it again anytime soon. So far, we haven't discovered the hidden maze. There must be some hidden condition we don't know about. They must have done something to make the hidden maze appear with 100% probability, but it's still strange. There are definitely fewer gargoyles here now compared to the original Snow Mountain. Anyway, we need to quickly deal with these guys. Then we can catch up to the Blood Tower Guild. What about Hunter Sano, though? I really hope he survived. Meanwhile, in a corner of Snow Mountain, Sano slowly crawled out of the web ball. That damn bastard. He actually used the Kalisha Dragon Sword's ability at the very last second. Fortunately, I managed to wrap myself in webs at the crucial moment. I almost died, but thanks to him, I now know how to draw out the sword's power. Speaking of which, this place is all white. Which way should I even go? Meanwhile, at the Hunter Association in the Island Nation, President Shinoda don't worry too much. President Shirosaki from Future Guild is also with them after all. Getting involved with the Blood Tower Guild is always a big problem. We still have far too little information about that guy. We just received a message. The Blood Tower Guild seems to have connections with the Star Stadium Guild. How is that possible? Are you sure you're talking about the world-class Hunter Guild, Star Stadium? That maze was part of the maze riots from the Great Disaster 15 years ago. The gargoyles that crawled out back then were more terrifying than any demon from hell. Hunter Nishimoto Tomoka, one of the world's strongest mages, was the one who sealed them. Without Hunter Nishimoto's sacrifice, the consequences would have been unimaginable. The giant's heart, sealed in that hidden maze, is now getting global attention. Both the Star Stadium Guild and the Blood Tower Guild are groups that will do anything to achieve their goals. So it's not surprising they'd team up. Also, Aries from the International Hunter Association is actually Hunter Nishimoto's daughter. This time, she seems to want to investigate the truth behind her mother's death. But Hunter Nishimoto hasn't been officially declared dead, has she? What are you saying? After all these years, could she possibly still be alive? 5 years ago, a survivor actually walked out of this maze. He said he thought he'd seen Hunter Nishimoto's figure. The other two were immediately shocked. Interestingly, that hidden maze actually has several entrances. Just then, someone burst through the door. President, this is terrible! The maze has gone red! The person immediately turned on the TV. The screen showed complete chaos. A maze outbreak had suddenly occurred in the city center. Large numbers of citizens were fleeing, and the monsters that appeared were actually Snow Mountain gargoyles. What on earth is happening? Meanwhile, deep in the Snow Mountain, Blood Tower Guild members were steadily advancing. This is the first time I've seen Mr. Kurosaki injured. Will there be problems with our upcoming strategy? That's not for you to worry about. Soon, everyone arrived at the hidden maze within Gargoyle Snow Mountain. Shinoda Satoru used stealth skills to follow close behind them. So this is the hidden area? The Blood Tower Guild personnel approached the maze entrance, but they were blocked by an invisible wall. Boss, we can't seem to get through here. We're blocked. The Star Stadium Guild truly lives up to being a world-class guild. The information they provided is completely accurate. This is the masterpiece of Nishimoto Tomoka, the strongest mage hunter from 15 years ago. The giant's heart is sealed here, in the hidden maze. Everyone, prepare to break the seal. Don't let your guard down. Blood Tower Guild members immediately scattered to deploy. Arita started getting the sword ready for restoration. Just then, Kurosaki seemed to sense someone following them. Who would be foolish enough to sneak around and pursue the Blood Tower Guild? Shinoda Satoru was terrified. Was I discovered? I don't want to die. The next second, Kurosaki raised his sword and slashed downward. Meanwhile, on the other side of the snowy landscape, a cute little stone was hunting. It found a Snow Mountain berserk rabbit. These level 30 creatures live near hidden mazes and often go berserk from hunger, dropping magic stones when defeated. One hit was all it took. A red magic stone immediately dropped. Little Stone quickly went to pick it up, then scurried away, soon reaching its master. Turns out, its master was Sano. "Well done! Eat it," Sano said. At his command, Little Stone promptly tossed the magic stone into its mouth and started chewing. This little stone was actually created from the core of a previous boss, the moving gargoyle. Injecting magic power into it creates a gargoyle. Its first skill allows it to freely change its appearance. Its second skill lets it transform into armor to protect its master. The third skill allows the user to share senses with the gargoyle, including vision and hearing. The higher its level, the wider the sharing range. Sano gazed proudly at the core in his hand. This is incredible, he thought. One core, one gargoyle. If I could somehow copy many of these, I'd have an army all by myself. I could solo attack mazes in the future, he mused. A snow mountain gargoyle, when upgraded to level 10, can freely change shape and share senses with its master. Just then, Little Stone suddenly sensed someone approaching, and it darted towards the newcomer. Turns out, the newcomer was Shinoda Satoru. Shinoda Satoru saw Sano and excitedly hugged him. I thought I'd never see you again, Shinoda Satoru exclaimed. When I realized the Blood Tower Guild had found the hidden maze, I immediately thought of you. I was so scared then, I thought they had discovered me. But then they discovered another stalker instead, probably a future guild member. There's also a girl with them who appears to be collecting a large amount of magic power. Then they started some kind of ritual. She was responsible for initializing the maze. I thought about stopping her, but I was too scared at the time. I'm sorry, Shinoda said. You've already done very well, Sano replied. Shinoda continued. By the way, that girl looked very familiar. I felt like I'd seen her before, Shinoda continued. Speaking of which, I've been meaning to ask, is it okay for that thing to keep following us? Sano chuckled. Oh, I forgot to introduce you. This is my little sidekick. This is so cute, Shinoda exclaimed. I didn't expect Senior Sano to be a familiar controller too. Soon they arrived at their destination. The hidden maze lay just across the bridge. Sano knew dealing with the Blood Tower Guild would be tough with just the two of them. Shinoda Satoru, go bring Nanase and Shirasaki here, Sano instructed. I'll stay here to monitor them. Shinoda Satoru immediately felt disappointed. He'd have to part with Senior Sano again so soon. To ensure his safety, Sano gave Shinoda Satoru the moving gargoyle's core. From now on, he's your little brother. Don't let his appearance fool you though. He's incredibly strong in battle. Shinoda Satoru was moved to tears. Can you really give me something so precious? He asked. Sano replied, it's not that precious actually. I have an unlimited supply of them. So, Shinoda Satoru left with the core and the little gargoyle. Watching them go, Sano immediately pulled out a new core. He was ready to create a brand new gargoyle, shaping its appearance exactly as he envisioned. Soon, a bird-type gargoyle was complete. Through sensory sharing, Sano could clearly see Kurosaki and the others. He watched Aratasara, who was holding the Kalisha dragon sword. Magic power continuously spurted from the collection boxes surrounding her. She used control bullshit to restore the Kalisha dragon sword's durability. At that moment, the sword's durability was only 6%. The numbers rapidly changed until they hit 100%. The Kalisha dragon sword's durability was successfully restored. However, using this skill instantly exhausted Aratasara's stamina. That's enough, Kurosaki exclaimed. He excitedly picked up the sword from the ground. Finally, I can use it to my heart's content. Sano couldn't believe what he was seeing. How did she do that? The sword's durability could actually be restored. Could she be a cursed ability user, just like him? From the information he had, her ability, control bullshit, could restore all things to their original state. Sano realized he could copy skills, but often with many limitations that made them difficult to use, even once copied. Sano looked at Aratasara and secretly made up his mind. I need to form an alliance with her first. Meanwhile, Kurosaki held the sword, preparing to destroy the seal. He slowly pierced the barrier with the sword tip. Immediately, the seal chains began to clash and rattle. The next second, a huge magic circle appeared under Kurosaki's feet. Without the information provided by the Star Stadium Guild, even with this key, we couldn't break through the barrier, Kurosaki stated. With that, he inserted the sword into the center of the magic circle. The only thing that can break this seal is this sword. This seal was Hunter Nishimoto's masterpiece, created 15 years ago. The original owner of the Kalisha dragon sword was her husband. Hunter Nishimoto had set up a barrier that only her husband's sword could break. Her husband was Frederick Shu, the world's greatest swordmaster. Kurosaki rotated the sword 90 degrees. Immediately, the magic circle began to transform. Dazzling white light continuously spread from its center. The gargoyles in the air were shattered by this immense power. They simply couldn't withstand it. Gradually, the barrier's power began to recede until it finally dissipated, revealing the true entrance to the hidden maze. The hidden maze of Gargoyle Snow Mountain had finally reappeared after 15 years. It's time to search for our true objective, Kurosaki declared, the giant's heart. Sano watched them enter, then began to struggle with a decision. Should he follow alone or wait for reinforcements? This was a big gamble. A new scene then unfolded. In the S-rank maze to the south, dismembered bodies lay everywhere. Only one man stood intact nearby. Your target was only me, wasn't it? planet? The man on the ground asked. Why did you kill them all? The standing man replied. If I only killed you, I'd become a murderer. But if I kill everyone, the standing man continued, it'll just be considered a maze accident. The next second, the man on the ground disappeared into a pool of blood. Control A. When a skill user dies, their skill transfers to the next person who can use it. This meant the standing man obtained the other's cursed power by killing him. Immediately, he felt a sharp pain in his neck. On the man's neck, 3 hourglass marks appeared. The red one was clearly brand new. He immediately felt his newly acquired power. He used Control A select all, and blue inverted triangles instantly appeared above all the dismembered bodies at the scene. Then, Control Cut was activated, targeting them all. In the next second, a massive void ripped open in front of him, devouring everything around it. Just then, an elf man suddenly appeared behind him. It seems your skill has evolved again, the elf remarked. Instead of erasing targets one by one, its range has clearly expanded significantly. The man replied, to steal cursed skills, I have to kill the other person. This really troubles me. What frustrates me most is that even after mastering this skill, it still won't evolve. Unfortunately, this is the only way to obtain another's cursed power, unless you find Control C. We've been searching for Control C for over 10 years, but there's been no news, the elf continued. I'm starting to doubt if Control C really exists. Believe me, he does exist in our dimensional world, the man insisted. And isn't that Control F guy searching for him? I'm sure we'll hear something soon. Our intelligence indicates that Control H is currently with the Blood Tower Guild, the elf explained. They should have already broken through the barrier set by Hunter Nishimoto. Control C is important, but you absolutely must obtain the Giant's Heart. It's a crucial item that will let you fully unleash the potential of your cursed power. Back in the hidden maze, the group regrouped to explore together. There were no signs of enemies anywhere. No monsters were found, and it was clear their targets hadn't entered long ago. They knew they had to quicken their pace and catch up. But then, Shinoda Satoru's feet suddenly began to glow. Oh no! It's a magic circle! Someone exclaimed. Instantly, everyone within the circle vanished. Everything happened so suddenly. Sano watched helplessly as they disappeared before his eyes. Nanase and Sano anxiously rushed to the spot. A massive magic circle then lit up on the ground with a dazzling flash of light, and they too were instantly transported. They landed in an unfamiliar place, but Shinoda Satoru and Shirosaki were nowhere to be seen. How can they not be here? We clearly followed them in immediately. Just then, a huge monster descended from above, aiming to swallow Sano. Nanis, reacting instantly, rushed forward. She swung her blade at the monster, instantly severing its head and successfully resolving the immediate crisis. Why are there dinosaur-type monsters here? I feel like we've been transported to a completely different world. This might be a multi-dimensional maze, someone suggested. That's impossible. I heard all multi-dimensional mazes were destroyed in the Great Disaster 15 years ago, another countered. But how else can you explain what's happening before us? A third asked. Teleportation magic circles are key markers of multi-dimensional mazes. They create connections between different dimensional spaces. Once a circle is activated, a door to another world opens. Could this be why Hunter Nishimoto sealed this place? They wondered. So, Shinoda Satoru and Shirosaki were very likely transported to another world. If we want to reunite with them, we must clear this maze and reach the location of the Giant's Heart. Then let's begin, they declared. The battle starts now. Meanwhile, in the city center outside the maze, chaos erupted. The maze had turned red, and large numbers of gargoyles were continuously destroying the urban area. Citizens began fleeing for their lives, while hunters barely managed to resist. However, as long as the gargoyles' cores remained intact, they could revive infinitely. Compounding the problem, the differing magic power densities between reality and the maze made it difficult for mages to cast large-scale spells, severely limiting their combat power. Damn that left eye, it's never around when you need it most. If we had its infinite magic power generation skill, this battle would be a piece of cake. Just as the bald warrior found himself in serious danger, a flash of sword light appeared. A blonde man sliced the gargoyle in half with a single strike. The reason? He'd overheard their conversation. He asked, "What's this infinite magic power generation you mentioned earlier?" To repay the favor, the bald warrior told the blonde man everything he knew. "I've never heard of such a skill. Could it really be him?" Suddenly, two massive sources of magic power appeared on the rooftop of the association building. It was the presidents of the island nation's two strongest guilds. A huge gargoyle was heading straight for them. "Looks like it's up to us. If we don't act now, the casualties will only get worse." Takeuchi Go immediately jumped down, activating his stone armor skill. In an instant, Takeuchi Go was covered head to toe in stone. After a loud crash, the transformed Takeuchi Go emerged from the smoke. By then, the gargoyle had already arrived, but with just one light punch, Takeuchi Go shattered it. Then he charged forward with overwhelming momentum. Shinoda Shiro also started putting in work, launching a magical bombardment. A brilliant magical energy impact struck the ground, clearing a path for Takeuchi-go to smoothly reach the boss. The boss swung its huge fist at Takeuchi-go, but Takeuchi-go didn't dodge. Instead, he raised his own fist to meet it head-on. One punch, then two. The boss's body gradually cracked. The next second, it shattered into fragments, revealing the red core. "I won't let that old man claim the boss for himself," he declared. With that, he crushed the core to powder. The maze riot was successfully quelled, but while they were still celebrating, the blonde man from before had already gathered some intelligence. Control F. Target Takeuchi-go doesn't use control keys. He's truly worthy of being the island nation's #1 guild president, quelling the maze riot in just a few minutes. Even without using control keys, useful information was still collected. I remember Control Plus should still be in the maze right now. I hope he didn't die in there. Meanwhile, to obtain the giant's heart, members of the Blood Tower Guild ventured into the depths of the hidden maze. Unexpectedly, countless zombies appeared. Too bad they were all small fry compared to the legendary sword. Kurosaki simply swung his sword once, eliminating them all. With the monsters cleared, they moved toward the boss room of the giant puppet heart. Immediately, a dazzling white light rose from everyone's feet. The next second, they arrived in front of a huge stone door. Kurosaki immediately took out the key he'd seized earlier and inserted it into the keyhole. As the door opened, everyone walked inside. The room's walls were lined with a row of huge statues. No boss was found anywhere. However, only Aritasara felt an indescribable pressure that made it hard for her to breathe. Could it be because I'm not a hunter? Just as one member was still wondering, a huge palm slammed down with a sickening smack. The unfortunate member was flattened into meat paste. One of the statues had come to life and was now standing before them. "Damn it! This statue moves! Everyone be careful!" But it was too late. The surrounding statues had already come to life, encircling the Blood Tower Guild members. Aritasara froze in shock at this sudden turn of events. This immediately infuriated Kurosaki. "What are you standing there for? Quickly use your restoration skills to save our fallen comrade." Aritasara finally realized she was the team's healer. She immediately rushed over, pulling the magic power devices she'd collected from her backpack. But she was shocked to discover that magic power was leaking. How was this possible? Even advanced mages couldn't break the seals on these devices. And why was all the magic power flowing in the same direction? The Blood Tower Guild members had already started battling the statues, but they were clearly outmatched. Kurosaki frantically called for his teammates to use landmines, but something was wrong. Stealth skills and landmines couldn't be activated normally. One of the statues struck hard. Kurosaki's eyes widened in shock. His teammate had just been killed. In mere moments, all the other Blood Tower Guild members had perished. "Are you kidding me? How can this be? You damn stones!" Kurosaki raised his sword, ready to use a powerful skill, but a notification popped up. "User lacks magic power to release Kalisha Dragon Sword's skill." The notification stunned him. As Kurosaki stood there, still confused, the statue's attack was already coming. Meanwhile, on the other side, Aritasara had followed the magic power flow to a platform. All the magic power was being absorbed by a cube in the center. What in the world was this thing? The moment Aritasara touched it, a huge ruby heart was revealed. Could this be the giant's heart? But why was it absorbing magic power instead of releasing it? Just then, the giant's heart suddenly reacted. Sensing danger, Aritasara immediately turned and ran, but it was too late. A red beam shot from the heart, piercing her waist. She fell to the ground in agony. The statue walked over, raising its blade high, and struck down hard. At this critical moment, Kurosaki used shadow movement to arrive just in time, blocking the attack for Aritasara. He immediately pulled out a high-grade healing potion, sprinkling it over her wound. Then he picked her up, planning to leave immediately. However, a notification sounded. The giant's heart has been activated. Now preparing for boss battle, the door began to slowly close. Kurosaki immediately tried to activate shadow movement, but another notification appeared. User lacks sufficient magic power to activate shadow movement skill. What kind of joke was this? How had his magic power vanished? If they didn't escape, they were dead. At this rate, they'd both be trapped here. Damn it, there was no choice. Kurosaki grabbed Aritasara, throwing her towards the exit with all his might. She slid roughly across the ground. "Why did you choose to save me? As long as you're alive, you can restore everything, right? You idiot, I'm not a hunter. Where am I supposed to find that much magic power?" When she opened her eyes again, she saw Sano appear before her. It was this guy. He seemed to be able to share his magic power with others, and Sano did exactly that, constantly transmitting magic power to her. "If you have enough magic power, you should be able to heal heal your injuries, right? Aritasara stared wide-eyed at Sano in shock. How did he know about her skill? A few minutes later, a healed Aritasara sat quietly nearby, her hands bound. As a prisoner, and as the Blood Tower Guild's healer, she had suffered fatal injuries but recovered completely so quickly. We need to thoroughly investigate her background when we get back. What should we do now? We worked so hard to get here, but we can't even open the door. There's no choice. To open it from outside, we'd need a key. That means we'll be trapped here forever. Is this why so many people have gone missing? Nearby, Sano was actually still struggling with a thought. What should I do? I actually copied that key, but how would he explain it? He decided he'd just make something up. Sano then took out the key, but right at that moment, Aries stepped forward and gently touched the door with her hand. Surprisingly, her arm passed right through it. Both the door and Aries' robe lit up with identical runes. The next second, the door simply opened. It turns out the robe belonged to Aries' mother. It seemed to resonate with the door, allowing it to open. Nearby, Sano overheard their conversation. He realized Aries was indeed the key to this maze. He thought if he got the chance, he absolutely had to investigate this multi-dimensional maze with her. According to Aritasara's intel, everyone quickly realized their magic power was rapidly draining away. The giant heart was continuously absorbing it. Just then, the statues from before reappeared. Sano immediately began casting. Control E, he commanded. Copy magic power. Control 5 to paste it. He continuously used Control 5 for an infinite paste. Suddenly, countless skill dialogue boxes filled the entire area. Terrifying magic power erupted from Sano's body, quickly filling the entire room. Even the giant heart's absorption speed couldn't keep up with how fast he was generating magic. Aritasara watched the scene in utter disbelief. She thought if she could combine her skill with his, she could restore her parents to normal. Nanase, having recovered his magic power, immediately charged toward a statue. With one swift strike, he cut it in half at the waist. Shirazaki wasn't about to be outdone. He raised his staff and unleashed dark magic. Dark lightning instantly destroyed the nearest statue. Just then, more statues surrounded them. Shirazaki became even more excited. "Let me use you guys," he declared, "to vent the terrible mood I've been in lately." He then unleashed a massive dark magic spell, instantly destroying the statues completely. Just then, Aritasara spotted Kurosaki. He was sitting on the ground, covered in wounds and barely clinging to life. Aritasara was about to step forward to help, but Sano got there first. "Didn't expect you'd end up here," Sano said. He then picked up the Kalea dragon sword from the ground. "Finally, I got it back," he thought. And sure enough, its durability has been fully restored. He wondered, how can I copy his skill? Sano decided to first try copying Kurosaki's shadow movement. A message popped up. "Copy failed. Target's level is higher than yours." Just as Sano was about to give up, another prompt box appeared. "Target has strong hostility toward you. In this situation, you have two ways to obtain the skill. 1. Kill the opponent and gain their skill. 2. Forcibly absorb the target's skill. This is only possible when the target's HP is below 15%. After absorption, the target will lose this skill." Sano thought, so skills can be absorbed this way too. With his current condition, I can forcibly absorb it. After a while, Kurosaki also walked over. "You're a healer, right?" he asked. "Heal this guy up. We have very important questions to ask him." Kurosaki then released Aritasara's restraints. As the healing skill activated, Kurosaki's arm began to regenerate. The next second, he awakened. "Seems my decision wasn't wrong," Kurosaki muttered. Immediately, his hands were bound again. "You better behave yourself," someone warned. "Or don't blame me if I get rude." "Understood. But first, we need to get out of here alive. This maze has only just begun." Suddenly, the giant heart on the platform unleashed another dazzling beam of light. Kurosaki quickly ducked to dodge it, then rapidly fled. The beam shot straight towards Nanase, instantly destroying the entire area around her. Seeing this, Shinoda Satoru rushed over. Just then, the heart fired another beam directly at Shinoda Satoru. At this critical moment, Little Stone raced forward at lightning speed. The next second, an explosion ripped through the air. When the smoke cleared, a figure emerged. Shinoda Satoru was completely covered in stone armor, which was Little Stone's transformed form. Nanase also stood behind him, looking disheveled. Someone exclaimed, "You two merged? You actually managed to level up in such a short time. No matter how many times I see it, it really looks like Master Takuchi's stone armor skill." Rewind half an hour. Kurosaki and Shinoda Satoru had been transported to a multi-dimensional maze. Kurosaki's powerful dark magic instantly eliminated the monsters there. They even dropped a large number of rubies, which Little Stone found very appetizing. With Kurosaki's permission, Little Stone sat down and began to chew voraciously. Just like that, Little Stone leveled up. Its status read, Snow Mountain Gargoyle, now at level 2, can grow up to level 10. It currently possesses Freeform Change LV2 and the ability ability to share senses with its master LV2. Little Stone, you're amazing. You actually leveled up. Back to the present, the giant heart's attacks grew increasingly fierce. They were so powerful that even Kurosaki's protective barrier eventually broke. These beams are made of high-density magic power. Ordinary defensive magic just can't hold up against them. Just then, a furious Nenny stepped forward. He showed no fear, directly swinging his sword to split the beam that was about to hit him. Because the beam's density is so high, it can actually be split with a sword. But even doing that, we still can't get close. Since I can generate infinite magic power, the giant heart will just keep absorbing it and firing beams. But if I stop generating magic power, our own magic will quickly be drained. It's a dead end either way. There's only one way left. Let me try my newly acquired skill, Shadow Movement. If I use its ability to move through spider silk shadows and combine it with Control +5, activating Giant King Spider Silk, Sano surrounded himself with spider silk and instantly vanished from his spot, leaving only a trace of silk behind. Maul, who was next to him, looked confused. Where did he go? A human-shaped shadow appeared behind the giant heart. Sano emerged from it, immediately placing his hand on the heart. He planned to shatter it using inherent vibration. However, he underestimated its intelligence. The heart used magic power to create an explosion, instantly blasting Sano back until he coughed up blood. Who do you think you are? That's the magic power I gave you, remember? Control +5, activate Giant King Spider Silk. Immediately, massive amounts of spider silk formed, continuously wrapping around the giant heart until it was encased in a huge cylinder. Just when everyone thought they had succeeded, beams shot out from inside it again. It's not over yet. Control +5, Giant King Spider Silk, Super Double. Several beams brushed past Sano. This time I must touch it. The moment he made contact, he wrapped it up again. Control +5, use the skill Inherent Vibration and use resonance to destroy the target. As the giant heart shattered, a brilliant light shone forth. A system message popped up. You have destroyed the giant's heart. Maze conquest successful. The next second, countless level-up notification boxes appeared before his eyes. Sano looked at them with great joy. Congratulations! You have obtained this conquest reward. Giant's Heart, Level 1, Upgradable. Skill 1, can generate magic power infinitely. Skill 2, can absorb or store a certain amount of magic power. This is a continuously upgradable skill. Looking at the description, Sano suddenly felt this seemed useless to him. Then came another notification. Control-C is upgraded. It can automatically copy copyable objects. It can auto-copy. This is simply amazing. Sano-senpai, you're absolutely incredible. Don't get close to me. I don't like men. At this moment, Shirazaki walked over seriously. Congratulations on obtaining the giant's heart, he said. After we return, I'd like to talk with you. If you want the giant's heart, I can sell it to you at a high price. Shirazaki became extremely excited at the offer. After some rest and reorganization, Sano returned the Kalesia Dragon Sword to Ares. Suddenly, Maul stepped forward. Did you just use the Blood Tower Guild's advanced skill? He asked. You moved a great distance just now. Sano immediately broke out in a cold sweat. He quickly made up an excuse. I used spider silk to quickly pull myself over. Maul was about to say more, but Nene interrupted him. Asking about someone's skills is very rude, she stated. Let's go. We still need to hurry back and investigate these two people. As they walked, Kurosaki quietly spoke to Aritasara. It's time for you to repay the life-saving debt you owe me, he said. Go restart the maze. Are you sure? Aritasara asked. This is the last time. Is it because of that magic power kid? Kurosaki responded. Just don't forget the contract or I'll have a headache. The contract? Adam's oath. It's a permanent binding, meaning you can never betray your partner. As long as you have this, you can never leave me. Remember, your parents are in my hands. I used my own life to save you back then. Now it's your turn to repay me. This place should have enough magic power. Start now. The next second, magic power began gathering around Aritasara. She then activated her control skill. Sano saw this and immediately turned, shouting for everyone to leave quickly. The maze is about to be reset, he yelled. He then used shadow movement. He instantly appeared beside Aritasara, hoping to stop her. Why are you doing this? He asked. I'm sorry, she replied. As the magic power activated, the entire maze began undergoing earth-shattering changes. Shirozaki and Ares immediately deployed protective barriers, shielding everyone as they raced toward the exit. They successfully escaped just as the maze was about to close, reaching the city above and outside the maze. Just then, the maze exit completely closed. Shinoda Satoru anxiously shouted, "They're still inside!" Meanwhile, inside the maze, things hadn't completely reset. Kurosaki had already freed himself from his restraints. Holding his sword, he slowly approached, asking, "What's going on?" The maze didn't completely reset. This guy pulled me out while I was activating the skill, Aritasara explained. So the reset was cancelled halfway through, Kurosaki mused. I see. It doesn't matter anyway. The others are all gone, Kurosaki continued. As long as I can get the giant's heart, everything will be fine. Sano looked angrily at his opponent. He planned to use the giant king spider's skill. However, the next second, Sano stared in disbelief at a dialogue box that appeared. It read, "Cannot find object." What does this mean? Sano wondered. It's useless, Kurosaki explained. What was reset wasn't just the maze, it was you too. Hearing this, Sano immediately brought up his information panel. It showed, Sano, level 1, skill proficiency LV 1%. Both Control C and Control V had returned to their initialized state. Wait, what's this? Sano noticed. His panel also showed, unconfirmed object has been copied, can be pasted. The next second, a sword light flashed. Blood splattered. Kurosaki directly slashed Sano, severely wounding him. Goodbye, little brat, Kurosaki sneered. He then swung his sword down again. Just then, another sword blocked Kurosaki's attack. It was Maul, who had also been left behind. However, Maul didn't seem to be a match for Kurosaki. Kurosaki smiled evilly. After several rounds of fighting, Maul was quickly defeated. Kurosaki delivered a hard kick, sending him flying. Kurosaki rushed forward, poised to deliver a fatal blow to Maul, but Sano threw himself in the way, taking the hit and falling heavily to the ground. Maul stared at Sano in disbelief. Why? He's my prey! I don't need your help! Get out of here! Maul exclaimed. However, before he could finish speaking, Kurosaki sliced him in half from behind. Everyone watched the scene in disbelief. Sano had just died. I knew only this guy himself was reset, Kurosaki sneered. But the things on him are still here. I'm now the only person you can rely on. Don't look at me with that expression, Kurosaki added. He's like this because you restored him to his initial state. I'm sure he'll thank you in the next life. The next second, a sword light flashed. Kurosaki's wrist was severed, and he let out a painful scream. Then Sano appeared, completely unharmed, right in front of Kurosaki. I'm back again, Sano announced. It turns out the copy of myself wasn't restored. He explained that at the moment of death, a skill automatically activated. Control 5. The skill was paste myself. Everyone looked on in disbelief. What's going on? Kurosaki yelled. I clearly cut him in half with my own hands. What kind of skill is this, you bastard? What exactly are you? Just then, Control 5th, Giant King Spider Silk, instantly wrapped around Kurosaki. He tried to use shadow movement to break free. However, a system message popped up. This skill has been removed and cannot be used. Kurosaki stared wide-eyed at the prompt in the dialogue box. Too many incredible things were happening before him. Sarah, do it again! Restart once more! He demanded. Arita Sarah, however, no longer wanted to be an accomplice. Have you forgotten about our contract? Kurosaki snarled. Move quickly if you don't want to die. At that moment, the contract bracelet on Arita Sarah's hand pulsed with electric currents, threatening her if she didn't comply. Sano noticed this change. So this is why you're bound? A contract bracelet? He mused. With a single step, Sano instantly appeared beside Arita Sarah. Grabbing her wrist, he activated Control 6, Inherent Vibration. The next second, the contract bracelet shattered. The shackles in Arita Sarah's heart seemed to break along with the bracelet. From now on, she was completely free from Kurosaki's control. Now you can't command anyone, Sano declared. Go to hell in despair. The next second, Sano used the shadow movement skill to instantly appear in front of Kurosaki. Today, I'll use your own skill to kill you, he vowed. Kurosaki immediately disconnected. Sano picked up the giant's heart from the ground. How many people did you kill for this thing? He wondered aloud. Scum like you has no right to possess it. He then used a skill to crush the giant's heart to powder. A system message appeared. You have destroyed a high-level reward item. Congratulations, you have obtained a unique treasure. Inside the Japan Hunter Association building, a group of people were discussing the recent maze incident. It turned out the Gargoyle Snow Mountain Maze was actually a multi-dimensional maze. This was alarming, as the great disaster 15 years ago was preceded by the explosion of similar multi-dimensional mazes. They hadn't expected them to reappear, especially with the seal on the Western Hunter also being lifted. This was a serious matter that needed immediate attention. However, the 7 hunters present didn't seem interested in the discussion. They just wanted to leave as soon as possible, prioritizing the investigation of the Blood Tower members. For them, multi-dimensional mazes were an unsolvable problem at the moment. This dismissive attitude really angered Takushi Tsuna. He scoffed, How impressive. Do you think we did nothing while you were away? He then stood up and walked directly towards Sano. I heard you conquered the maze. If you have such ability, why have I never heard of you? He pressed. Who exactly are you? Sano calmly replied, I'm just a hunter. What are you planning to do? He continued. We not only conquered the maze, but also discovered a very dangerous multi-dimensional maze. While it might not be a groundbreaking achievement, it certainly doesn't warrant this kind of treatment. Don't you agree, Master Takushitsuna? Takushitsuna narrowed his eyes. You're interesting. Knowing my identity and still daring to speak to me in that tone. In an instant, he activated his stone armor skill. The ordinary people nearby immediately panicked at the sudden display of power. Fortunately, the Hunter Association president was there and quickly intervened to calm the disturbance. Takushitsuna reluctantly backed down and left the meeting room. The scene then shifted to the Hunter Association president's office. The president explained, I was once a member of the Great Sage Guild myself, but I left for certain reasons. He then added, I represent all hunters in thanking you for your contribution this time. Sano was clearly happy to be recognized by President Tomiwa. Next to Sano, Aries stated his intention to return to the International Hunter Association to report the matter. Mal, however, announced she planned to stay here for a while. I plan to quit the International Hunter Association, she declared. That night, everyone gathered at Sano's home. Sano asked, what are you all doing at my house so late? Mal replied, I'm no longer a member of the International Hunter Association. I have nowhere else to stay, so I'll just borrow a spot at your place for a while. Mole, why are you doing this? Sano pressed. I'm very sorry, but I can't tell you, she answered. Someone else chimed in. I came to play with Sano-senpai. Then another said, I'm only here to convey Arita-Sara's request. Don't lump me in with them. They explained that Kurosaki was still in a coma because Arita-Sara refused to use her healing skill. Once Kurosaki woke up, she would be transferred to prison for interrogation. Arita-Sara herself was currently being held in the Hunter Association's interrogation room. She had maintained complete silence, with her only request being to meet Sano. They also mentioned that Arita-Sara was a member of an idol girl group. I think she was forced into it, someone speculated. I destroyed her contract bracelet, so she shouldn't have any more ties to Kurosaki. Sano decided, I'll go to the association to see her later. He then turned to another guest. By the way, Master Shirozaki, why are you also in my room? Shirozaki replied, I'm here for only one reason. However, Mal, standing beside him, quickly interrupted. If you want the giant's heart, don't even think about it. Hunter Sano already destroyed it in the maze, Mal declared. This statement shocked everyone in the room. Are you crazy? Someone exclaimed. Why would you destroy such a rare item? But the very next second, the giant's heart suddenly appeared in Sano's hand. Sano calmly explained, what I destroyed in the maze was actually fake. He thought to himself that it was just a copy, though it was practically indistinguishable from the real thing. Mal stared in disbelief at the heart in Sano's hand. That's impossible, she insisted. I can confirm that what was destroyed at the time was the real heart. Both Shirozaki and Nanase immediately offered astronomical prices to obtain the giant's heart. Shirozaki's astronomical offer of $20 billion finally closed the deal. Later that night, Sano was happily contemplating the fortune that was soon to be his. He wondered, if I just used my skill to copy a bunch of giant hearts and auctioned them on the overseas black market, I'd be instantly rich. The thought made him incredibly excited. What a great haul this was. His level had already reached over 300, and he'd also received a unique reward. The item was currently sealed, but it could be unsealed by injecting magic power. Curious, Sano immediately injected a large amount of magic power into it. Suddenly, a triangular item appeared. It was a dimensional fragment, 1/5 of the whole. If you collect all the dimensional fragments, you can synthesize a dimensional key. This key will open the door to any dimension. These fragments also had the ability to attract each other. Sano looked at the item with confusion. This thing seems useless right now, and what's worse, it can't even be copied. How am I supposed to collect the other fragments? Just then, Mal walked in. There's something I need to confirm with you, he said. Mal then drew his long sword. Sano immediately panicked at the sight. What are you doing? Sano cried, but Mal didn't answer. Instead, he raised his sword to strike. He plunged it towards Sano's heart, and blood spurted out. 15 years ago, during the Great Disaster in Europe, a terrifying giant beast rampaged through the city. It was a lower horned dragon, level 500 plus. Its abilities were said to be equivalent to higher horned dragons. This monster was fire attribute, so mages were advised to use ice magic against it. A mage flew forward. After several flips and dodges, he reached a spot behind the lower horned dragon. Raising his magic circle, he immediately cast ice magic. However, several ice spikes were blocked by the dragon's wings, completely ineffective. Instead, the dragon's impact pushed him back several meters. Damn it, where did this superclass monster come from? The mage cursed. We're no match for it at all. The lower horned dragon then opened its mouth wide and breathed out massive flames. The scorching flames quickly engulfed the nearest hunters. Soon, the massive flames caused huge explosions explosions throughout the city. Hunters watching from afar were so scared, they turned and ran. The entire city felt like it had been plunged into hell. As a newly awakened rookie hunter, I felt completely doomed. Just then, a man appeared before me, suddenly giving hope to my despairing heart. It was the world's greatest hunter, Frederick Shu. Thank you for saving me, I thought. However, the very next second, Frederick was swallowed whole by the lower horned dragon. Only half his body remained, left standing there. I was scared pale and sat limply on the ground. Just then, the lower horned dragon seemed to undergo a mutation. Painful roars echoed across the land. Its entire body began to swell. Finally, its whole body exploded in a massive blast. Huge blast waves swept over everything. At that moment, the man appeared again, once more standing in front of me. I was completely shocked. "You're actually fine," I exclaimed. I clearly saw it with my own eyes just now. When I looked at where the corpse had been, only some black charcoal remained, scattering in the wind. "Frederick, didn't I tell you not to use that move in front of outsiders?" a voice scolded. Only then did I realize there was a female mage standing right behind me. She was the one who had saved me from the explosion. It was an emergency, and this was the fastest way to defeat that monster. The lower horned dragon's scales are incredibly hard, and normal attacks had no effect on it. If we had left it alone, this country would have been destroyed. You saw it, right? I hope you can help me keep this secret. Gradually, hunters started approaching the area. Seeing this, Frederick turned to leave. "Goodbye. I hope when we meet again you'll have grown into a great hunter." I hurried forward and introduced myself. "I'm Maul Grant from the Grant family. I'm a recently awakened hunter. Please remember me." "I'll remember you, Maul Grant. A hunter with a skill that transcends death." This was the world's greatest hunter, Frederick Shu. However, what I didn't expect was that after his disappearance I would meet someone with the same skill. I know this is rash, but I want to personally verify whether my guess is correct. Raising his hand, he swung the blade, stabbing towards Sano. The moment Sano died, his body turned to ash and scattered. Then, Sano revived, appearing behind Maul. "Why did you kill me?" Maul breathed a sigh of relief, proving his guess was correct. "I'm very sorry, but no matter what, I wanted to see this skill with my own eyes." "Weren't you afraid your guess was wrong? What if I really died?" At this moment, Shinoda Satoru appeared at the door, witnessing the entire scene. "Why are you still here? This is getting more and more troublesome." After some explanation and apology, Maul decided to serve at Sano's side as compensation. "So there really is a skill for resurrection from death. Is this why Senpai is so powerful?" This made Shinoda Satoru extremely excited. "Let's put this aside for now. By the way, Aries, didn't you go home? How did you come back?" "It's because of this thing." Sano looked in surprise at the item in Aries' hand. Dimensional fragments have an ability to attract each other. While Aries was on his way home, the fragment he carried suddenly reacted. Following its guidance, he returned here. The fragment in Sano's hand was number 5. The one in Aries' hand was number 1. Mine is a unique reward I got from destroying the giant's heart, and mine is my mother's relic. According to the notes she left behind, fragments attract each other. Now it's been confirmed. This means it'll be easier to obtain other fragments in the future. By the way, what exactly is this thing for? If you collect all the fragments, you can synthesize a key to the dimensional gate. It's like the multi-dimensional maze we experienced this time. If you possess this key, you can move freely in multi-dimensional space. So you came to Japan not only to find your mother, but also to collect information about dimensional fragments. I believe my parents are still alive in another dimension. I think so too. I don't believe they would die so simply. That means they might currently be trapped in another dimension, or there's a reason they can't return. If that's the case, what kind of reason would it be? It might be more terrifying than the Great Disaster 15 years ago. Anyway, as long as we have the dimensional key, we can close multi-dimensional mazes and prevent great disasters. But how does this thing become a key? Just then, little stone lightly touched the fragment. Instantly, the two fragments' corners attracted each other. Then, they emitted a dazzling light. After the light faded, the fragments were completely joined. So this is how they connect. The resonance between them was even more intense than before. Meanwhile, at the European headquarters of the Star Stadium Guild, the elf man suddenly noticed his dimensional fragment reacting. A sinister smile spread across his face. "Looks like I can finally go home," he thought. Just then, a white-haired man suddenly appeared behind him. "What are you laughing about?" the white-haired man asked. "The Blood Tower Guild guys haven't responded. Looks like the mission failed." Seeing the other person, the elf man immediately knelt down. "Mr. Michael," the elf man said, "congratulations on finally obtaining Control C. Now you can move freely. You've taken another step on the path to becoming a transcendent." "Currently, I can only use it for short-distance movement," Michael replied. "I need to use Control C to make it evolve, but rest assured this may be realized very soon." The dimensional fragments just resonated. 2 of them should have connected. "The one in my hand will tell us where the other pieces are." "You mean you can go home soon?" the elf man asked. "By the way, doesn't your world have its own dimensional key?" "No, there is one, Michael clarified. However, it's currently impossible to open the dimensional gate from the other side. 15 years ago, it was all because of that damn mage, the Western Hunter. All dimensional gates connected to Blue Star were sealed. The multi-dimensional key on Blue Star was also split into 5 pieces and sealed in different places. Once we collect these fragments and lift the seal, the dimensional gate will open again. Then we can go to my homeland, Fairyland, Michael continued. We will open the dimensional gate to the Sacred World Tree. There's a reward similar to Control C there. If you absorb it, it will benefit you greatly. Sounds good, the elf man said. But is this really the same as the Control Key? Michael scoffed. You were also very surprised when you first saw my skill. Do you think I don't know what you're after? Your homeland is the elves' country. Its world tree was contaminated hundreds of years ago. Now it's called the Dark Tree. Worst of all, it's now on the verge of destruction. During the Great Disaster 15 years ago, Blue Star and the elves' dimension overlapped for the first time. You elves tried to transfer the source of contamination to Blue Star, but the Western Hunter stopped you. So what exactly do you want? Michael pressed. Will the elves continue their failed plan to reconnect the two worlds? Are you using me to achieve your own goals? The elf man immediately broke into a cold sweat. He felt very guilty, just as he was about to make excuses. But the white-haired man suddenly said, Actually, I don't care about this at all. I just want to use you to open more multi-dimensional worlds and absorb more skills, becoming like those transcendents. I don't care what happens to this world. From now on, I'll act personally. Hearing this, the elf man immediately panicked. You can't leave yet, Mr. Michael, the elf man exclaimed. You're the leader of the Star Stadium Guild. If you leave without a proper reason, you might attract some unwanted attention. I've already considered this possibility, Michael calmly stated, so I've ordered Lucas to execute Plan B. Once preparations are complete, we'll have sufficient reason to let you act freely. Meanwhile, in Japan, Sano brought Shinoda, Satoru, and Mal to conquer a high-level maze called the Forest of Death. Their target was the Knoll, a level 90 monster that fused fairy and wolf. Although their individual combat ability was low, they were very intelligent and usually appeared in groups, making them very dangerous. Sano, Shinoda said nervously, isn't this a bit too many? There are only 3 of us. How could we retreat so easily? Sano scoffed. This is a great place for grinding. He excitedly began provoking the nearby gnolls. What are you waiting for? Come attack me! This immediately enraged the opponents. Shinoda Satoru was almost in tears. Sano-senpai, what are you doing? The next second, all the gnolls charged forward. Sano hit Control+5 and used a gargoyle core to summon a gargoyle. He kept using the skill, quickly summoning an entire army of gargoyles. They charged straight towards the gnolls. Shinoda Satoru and Mal watched the scene in amazement. How does Senpai have so many cores? Mal wondered. Sano just smiled. Let's enjoy this performance, he said. What exactly is his skill? He can actually summon so many gargoyles. Soon, both sides were locked in a fierce battle. The gargoyle army charged forward with crushing force, instantly sending a large group of gnolls flying. They look like a bunch of delinquents, Sano mused. My little stone must never learn from them. The battle ended quickly. Sano crouched down and petted a gargoyle. Thank you for your hard work, he said. Then he recalled them and opened his system inventory to check something. I don't have enough space to create a gargoyle squad, he muttered. Forget it. I don't want to think about it right now. It's time to go see Arita Sara. Soon, a Mercedes G-Class was speeding down the road. Didn't expect you to have a car, one of his companions remarked. Yeah, this is a birthday gift my dad bought me, Sano replied. Oh, right, his companion thought. I almost forgot this guy is the prince of the Great Sage Guild. They would soon reach the Hunter Association's interrogation room. Inside, only Arita Sara sat quietly. She hadn't eaten for 3 days. No matter what they asked, she remained silent, only saying she wanted to see Sano. Can our conversation be kept private? Sano asked. I'm very sorry, an officer replied. Given the nature of this investigation, we cannot meet your request, Sano thought. Then I'll just have to try using Control Plus to undo it later. He brought a cup of water inside. Thirsty, right? We'll talk after you drink, Sano said. Arita Sara glanced at him, then picked up the cup and drank it down. You want to know what my skill is exactly? She asked. It's no secret. My skill is infinite mana generation, she revealed. If you can help me, I'll cooperate with your investigation. But before that, I need to confirm something. You have the ability to restore everything, called Control Plus, right? She asked. Yes, a cursed ability, Sano confirmed. I knew I wasn't the only one cursed, she mused. Sano realized, in other words, I can copy and paste her skill. That means I can copy and paste any control skill in the future. The conversation inside surprised those listening outside. Restoration, curse, control plus. What were they talking about? They wondered. Do such skills really exist? That girl's skill isn't healing, it's restoration. No wonder the durability of the Tylesia dragon sword recovered, someone realized. Arita Sarah continued. My parents are in a coma. I need a massive amount of mana to restore them, and you're the only one who can provide such enormous mana. Please help me, she pleaded. Understood, Sano replied. I can provide however much mana you need. In exchange, I need you to... He placed his hand on her handcuffs. Everyone outside looked puzzled. What was Sano trying to do? The next second, an explosion sound rang out. Sano activated. Control-C, copy target skill, Control+. However, unexpectedly, the system prompted that copying was impossible. Sano was confused. Why was this? He wondered. I've thought before that there might be skills that can't be copied, but I never expected to encounter one today. Damn it! Why am I so unlucky today? Arita Sarah stared at her hand, which he was gripping tightly. She felt bewildered and asked, What are you doing? Sano then realized what he was doing and quickly let go of her hand. Suddenly, a red dialogue box popped up. It read, Control-C skills. Special skills cannot be copied. However, if you eliminate the target, you can absorb it. Meeting this condition allows you to copy the skill normally. Sano felt extremely depressed after seeing such a cruel rule. I can't just kill someone for a skill, he thought. Is there no other way? Maybe I could wait until she dies of old age and then absorb it? Outside, everyone watched, puzzled by what was happening inside. What was Senior Sano doing? Nanais couldn't watch any longer. She quickly asked what was going on inside. Sano quickly replied, Sorry, I was just spacing out. Everything's going smoothly in here. He then decided, forget it. I'll help wake up her parents first to gain her trust. Maybe I'll find a better way soon. If not, I can still cooperate with her. That same afternoon, everyone gathered at Hunter Center Hospital. Many people had been attacked by mysterious creatures during the Great Disaster, resulting in mana poisoning. This hospital was the only one accepting such patients. Sano considered, was this why I needed to cooperate with Kurosaki? I need a lot of money for treatment. He then wondered, Kurosaki is also receiving treatment here now, isn't he? Yes, he's in the underground facility, someone replied. Once he wakes up, he'll be taken to prison for investigation. Just then, a man brushed past Maul. Maul wondered, why is this guy here? It was Lucas, the one who uses Control-F. The scene then shifted to Lucas as he arrived at the underground facility. Two guards quickly stepped forward to stop him. This is a restricted area, they announced. Entry without permission is prohibited. Lucas confidently pulled out a small card. Thank you both for your hard work, he said. This is my permit. However, what was actually written on the card was Control-F. In the next second, the text began to change. Countless black energy emerged from the card, quickly attacking the two guards. It soon engulfed them completely. After this baptism of black energy, the two guards were completely controlled. They became mindless puppets. Lucas walked straight in, making his way to Kurosaki. Then he took out a strange orb. Its surface was wrapped in purple leaves, and it continuously emitted black energy. Lucas, there's something only you can do, a voice stated. If the Blood Tower Guild fails, I want you to deploy this throughout City C. Lucas saw this thing and instinctively felt disgusted. He quickly stepped back. This is a fruit brought from my homeland, the voice continued. A fruit from a contaminated world tree. Using this fruit as a barrier, we can open a subspace. You might not know what subspace is, the voice added. Let me show you now. The scene before Lucas's eyes then filled him with terror. The elf-man's fruit had already opened a portal. The space above was torn open, revealing a terrifying giant beast inside. Back in the present, Lucas looked at the purple fruit in his hand. He thought, that guy wants to turn the entire city into hell. Damn it, I need to save people first. They are too closely related to my family. Now isn't the time to back down. Upstairs in the hospital room, Arita Sarah's parents had successfully recovered. Shinoda Satoru was moved to tears by this heartwarming scene. Nene suddenly had some ideas after witnessing this miraculous skill. Is restoration truly more powerful than the strongest healers? I need to find a way to keep this girl in the association. By the way, where did Maul go? Meanwhile, in the hospital corridor, Lucas had already awakened Kurosaki and was leading him out. Just then, a system dialog box popped up in front of Lucas. It read, detected a control skill user nearby. Kurosaki was surprised to hear this. He wondered if Sarah was coming to see his parents, and was that other guy with her too? Suddenly, Maul appeared behind them. Lucas, it really is you. I almost didn't recognize you. And Kurosaki, you're actually awake. I heard you quit the Hunter Association. What are you doing here now? Since you're helping him escape, you're now an accomplice, Maul continued. drawing his weapon. Lucas observed, "You're as reckless as ever, I see. Did you forget this is a hospital?" "Let me handle this," Maul retorted. "I'll teach him a lesson and show him he can't do anything." Just then, Sano appeared behind Maul using shadow movement. "I'm here too," he announced. Maul stared. "You bastard, that's my skill." Lucas's unique ability chimed in. "Detected users of Control plus E and Control plus 5. Target directly ahead." "I finally found you, Control plus!" Lucas exclaimed. This was truly troublesome. One thing after another. First Kurosaki, and now even an international criminal had shown up. As the newcomer, Nanase, revealed their weapon, Lucas and Sano were startled. "That's the witch's blade," someone gasped. Nanase, muttering to himself, thought, "Today really is a terrible day. I have to work overtime everywhere I go." Seeing Nanase with a weapon immediately drew onlookers. "Isn't that Hunter Nanas? Why is he carrying a weapon in the hospital?" people whispered. Nanas calmly addressed the situation. "Look, this is a hospital. Can't we resolve this peacefully?" He then took out 2 mana suppression handcuffs. "If you're willing to wear these, I'd be happy to talk with you both." It seemed there was no room for communication. Kurosaki suddenly grabbed a nearby passerby. He yelled, "Don't you understand? Everyone here is my hostage. Can we resolve this peacefully now?" However, the next second, Nanase delivered a powerful kick. Kurosaki was sent flying, crashing hard into the corridor wall before spitting out a large amount of blood. Seeing this scene, Lucas broke out in a cold sweat. He thought, that attack was too fast. I couldn't see it clearly at all. Nanase then turned to Lucas. "Lucas, you should be different from Kurosaki, right? Can we resolve this peacefully?" Lucas glanced at the unconscious Kurosaki, debating, should I use that thing? He then looked at Nanase. "I want to know why you chose me," Nanase explained. "This is dark magic power, produced by the contaminated world tree. Normal people would be poisoned by it, but you're different, aren't you? You're the same as the Blood Tower Guild's leader." "You mean, Kurosaki is also," Lucas began. "Yes," Nanase confirmed. "He uses dark magic power to operate his skills. Feel free to use it. Inject your dark magic power and let these contaminated world tree fruits bloom." Lucas sighed. "I'm very sorry. I'm the same as Kurosaki. I can't resolve this peacefully with you." He then drew a sword from his space. "I'll do whatever it takes to take him away." That sword is the prayer sword. Lucas belongs to Country-Wise Holy Knight family. They possess a sword passed down through generations. This weapon is said to be the world's only holy sword, on par with the Curisia dragon sword. However, it doesn't boost levels or any attributes. The sword has a special name, the Heretic Inquisitor. It's capable of eliminating any skill or weapon deemed heretical. Hunter Nanase, wielding the cursed sword witch's blade, was immediately deemed heretical. The sword moved to eliminate it. Sano immediately grew worried and wanted to help. "I'm fine, don't worry," Nanase said. "It just made a nick in the queen's blade. Now it's my turn," Nanase declared. He raised his sword and swung, but Lucas dodged the attack with ease. "It seems the hospital is limiting your performance," Lucas taunted. "You can't beat me without using your skills." The very next second, Lucas was proven wrong. Nanase's attack cut his tie. Nanase's next wave of attacks followed instantly. A single sword strike hit Lucas in the chest. The force was overwhelming. In the next second, Lucas was knocked back several meters, spitting out blood. That attack felt like it was going to tear me apart inside, he thought. "It seems the holy sword can't make up for the difference in our strength. Is this the power of the world's 10th ranked hunter?" Lucas wondered. "I really don't want to use my skill in the hospital, but you're forcing me to." Just then, Kurosaki's voice echoed out. "Damn bastard!" Kurosaki yelled. He woke up from unconsciousness and stood. In his hand was the contaminated world tree fruit, already blooming. "Since you want to protect this hospital so much," Kurosaki snarled, "I'll turn everything to nothing." He then thrust the world tree fruit into the ground. "Stop it! This is a hospital," someone cried out. Kurosaki smirked. "You're going to place it at key locations in City C anyway, so let me put one in the hospital too." As massive amounts of dark magic power poured out, everything around them began to corrode. "This is dark magic power," someone realized. "Only those with dark skills possess it, but this amount is a bit much. At this rate, everyone in the hospital would suffer mana poisoning." "Damn it!" Sano exclaimed. He immediately used shadow movement. Sano instantly appeared behind Kurosaki, wrapping him in spider silk. "Too late! It can't be stopped!" Kurosaki laughed. The world tree fruit had been in flower form only a second before. The next second it began to spread and grow wildly. Everyone had to dodge. Its thick branches rampaged through every corner of the hospital. In an instant, it formed a small world tree, riddling the entire hospital with holes. Ordinary people inside were suddenly in crisis. Sano and the others quickly began rescue operations. "Are you okay? Please evacuate here with the others as quickly as possible," they urged. Patients who could move did so, but many others couldn't. Though they were helping with the rescue, the entire hospital was now filled with demonic energy. At this rate, everyone would suffer mana poisoning. Now there's no other way, Sano realized, except to restore the hospital. Thinking this, Sano immediately used shadow movement to search for Aritasara. At a rubble site, Koichi and Shinoda Satoru were busy rescuing civilians. Sano then teleported directly behind Shinoda Satoru, who informed him that Aritasara's room was surprisingly intact. When they reached the room, they found its entrance blocked by thick ice walls. Ares had cast this ice barrier magic to protect the area. However, it hadn't been enough to stop the demonic energy from seeping through. Once the ice walls shattered, Sano and the others quickly entered. He explained the dire situation to Aritasara. The entire hospital had been ravaged by the enemy, who used a massive tree to spread demonic energy everywhere. Sano believed the fastest solution was for Aritasara to use her skill and restore everything. Aritasara readily agreed, stating that with Sano's infinite mana, restoring everything would be no problem. The scene then shifted, showing everyone standing before the giant tree. "This tree is even more massive than I imagined," Sano commented. Someone asked, "Where did it come from?" "It was Kurosaki," came the answer. "He escaped and released this thing." Everyone was surprised by this revelation. The speaker, likely Aritasara, added, "He knew my parents were still in the hospital, yet he still did this. He doesn't care about their lives at all." "Then let's begin," Sano said. He immediately started transferring massive amounts of mana to Aritasara. She, in turn, placed her hand on the tree's trunk and began releasing her skill. But at that exact instant, the tree seemed to sense danger. It immediately began retracting its roots. Soon, all the roots that had spread throughout the hospital pulled back, forming a massive barrier that blocked Aritasara's path. Suddenly, a giant opening appeared on the trunk. Massive amounts of demonic energy poured out, directly attacking Aritasara. Sano, seeing this, became extremely anxious. He quickly ran forward, activating Control 5 Giant King Spider's Silk. Instantly, the silk formed a protective wall in front of them. The next second, a loud explosion rocked the area. Both the silk and the dark energy dissipated. Shinoda Satoru immediately rushed forward, his face filled with concern. "Senior Sano, are you okay?" Shinoda Satoru asked. "I'm fine," Sano replied. "But Aritasara just fainted, and it looks like the restoration failed. We have to quickly evacuate everyone from here, or they'll all be poisoned." Shinoda Satoru picked up Aritasara and immediately ran towards the hospital exit. Sano then pointed at the mysterious tree and asked Ares, "Do you know what this thing actually is?" Ares replied, "According to the notes my mother left, it might be from another world, a completely different dimension from ours. I believe this is a fruit from a contaminated world tree." Ares continued, "Its purpose is to transfer contamination from its source into our dimension. Since the world tree's main body is in another dimension, simply restoring it to its original state won't work here," he added. "These fruits can also serve as barriers. The enemies will likely plant them all around City C." Sano was extremely shocked to hear this. A terrifying catastrophe is about to come, Sano realized. 10 minutes later, at the hospital entrance, rescue teams had evacuated a large number of casualties. Magic hunters were desperately trying to use purification magic to eliminate the pervasive dark demonic energy. However, no matter how much they purified, they couldn't eliminate it. Hunter Association President Fuwa and Takuchi Tsuyoshi soon arrived on the scene. "It really is a contaminated world tree from another dimension," one of them commented grimly. "Even seeing it with my own eyes, it's hard to believe," the other agreed. "Nanase still bears great responsibility for this incident. I never thought Kurosaki could escape from the world-famous hunter Nanase. If Lucas was also involved in this," the first speaker added, "then we'll have to demand an explanation from the International Hunter Association." Just then, the ground suddenly shook violently, and no one knew what was happening. A hunter immediately ran anxiously toward President Fuwa. Reports from the North District confirm a second world tree has sprouted. Damn, Kurosaki acted quickly once again. Now 2 mysterious towering trees stood in the city. These trees continuously emitted black demonic energy. Anyone who inhaled it would be immediately poisoned. Because of this, the areas around both giant trees were quickly designated as restricted zones. Personnel in nearby areas immediately began evacuating. The roads were packed with evacuating vehicles. Records showed these trees originated from contaminated world tree fruits from another world. The black demonic energy itself stemmed from that otherworldly world tree. These 2 trees acted as conduits, continuously transmitting black demonic energy to Blue Star. In this situation, there's no way they can catch us at all now. By the way, I didn't expect you to be so ruthless. You actually used black magic on ordinary people for brainwashing. People contaminated by you become puppets, completely at your command. Hearing this, Lucas became extremely angry. Shut up! This is all because of you! Don't be angry. I'm complimenting you. They're looking for us everywhere now. But as long as I'm with you, we'll never be discovered. I'm sure they'd never think we'd be hiding in a police car. 3 more locations. Let's hurry. Meanwhile, back in the Hunter Association president's office, Sano and his group were discussing countermeasures. So 2 or 3 more identical trees will appear, and then they'll surround the entire city to form some kind of barrier? Yes, at least that's what's recorded in my mother's notes. The same kind of tree appeared during the Great Disaster 15 years ago. These contaminated trees act as both barriers and gates. When the time comes, large numbers of contaminated monsters will appear. Could this be related to the Great Disaster from 15 years ago again? I remember our car was attacked by the roots of this tree back then. My father drove desperately, trying to escape with me. Damn, is this the same thing mentioned before? Who would unleash this in the city? Despite his father's best efforts, driving at maximum speed, they couldn't avoid the tree roots' attack. They pierced straight through the entire car. As he thought of this, the cursed hourglass mark on his neck suddenly emitted a faint blue light. Could this be related to my curse? Damn it! If the mastermind is the same person, I'll make them pay dearly. Now I remember, another person said. There was indeed a tree in the city at that time, but I was busy dealing with a dungeon riot and had no time to pay attention to it. It will form a barrier, serve as a gate connecting 2-dimensional worlds, and even open a subspace. I don't quite understand why they're making it so complicated. Is there something special about that subspace? It couldn't be a Dark Soul subspace, could it? It said Dark Souls need an environment filled with demonic energy, so they use contaminated trees to form a barrier for them to descend. Under current circumstances, a subspace opening is very likely. However, the worst-case scenario is that a gate to another dimensional world might also be opened. Hearing them mention subspace, Sano suddenly realized an opportunity. If he could copy it into infinite space, he could solve his problem of insufficient storage and create an unlimited army of gargoyles. Then wouldn't I be invincible? I must catch the mastermind and obtain a subspace. The discussion then turned to dimensional keys. Takuchi Tsuyoshi didn't believe such things existed, so Sano took out the 2-dimensional fragments he held. Takuchi Tsuyoshi stared, unable to believe these actually existed. Is this really a dimensional key? He asked. These are just 2 fragments of the key. You need to collect all 5 for it to truly function. My mother's notes mention a contaminated dimensional gate once opened in Country Y. Now that contaminated trees and dimensional fragments have appeared again, it's very likely that the outsiders from back then are acting once more. They might also have dimensional fragments. Then Shirasaki suddenly spoke up. Actually, our guild also has one of these things. An hour later, everyone arrived at the underground vault of the Future Guild. This vault door is way too big. Master Shirasaki, where did you get your dimensional fragment? You didn't buy it through underground channels, did you? Don't let it be a fake and embarrass us. Sano, however, was certain a dimensional fragment was inside. He knew fragments resonate with each other. As the massive door slowly opened, the interior was revealed to everyone. In the vast space, only one item rested in the center. It was dimensional fragment number 4, wrapped in a shimmering barrier. Since no one knew what would happen when the fragments merged, only Sano and Shirasaki went inside. This decision actually pleased Takuchi Tsuyoshi. He thought, if you accidentally open some strange dimension, I'll make you pay for it. The door closed behind them as Sano and Shirasaki approached the fragment. Can't you tell me where you got this? Sano asked. Shirasaki replied, stop talking nonsense and let's get to work. Once you combine them, immediately enter my barrier. Sano scoffed. You don't need to be so careful. I've already merged them once before, so don't worry too much, he added confidently. Besides, I can use movement skills to escape instantly. The moment Sano touched the fragment, the barrier around it shattered. The dimensional fragment immediately glowed with a dazzling light. What's happening? Sano wondered. A huge explosion echoed through the room. Fortunately, Sano teleported away just in time. Otherwise, he would have been finished. He thought, I never imagined the fragment would automatically emerge from space and combine itself. He realized, if just the 3rd fragment combining could produce such power, what will happen when the 4th one comes? Sano mused. Meanwhile, Shirasaki saw the teleportation skill Sano had just used and became furious. Who exactly are you? He demanded. Sano replied, I'm Sano. What's wrong with you? But in the very next second, Shirasaki grabbed Sano's throat. How can you use the highest level forward movement skill? Shirasaki snarled. What are you going crazy about? Sano retorted. Shirasaki pressed. Tell me, why can you use dark skills without using dark magic power? Sano thought, damn it, how should I explain this? Should I reveal my secret? He quickly tried to explain. I can't use dark magic power. But Shirasaki didn't believe this nonsense. He raised his staff and cast black lightning directly at Sano. Sano thought, damn it, why can't I activate shadow movement? Shirasaki sneered, wondering why you can't use your skill? That's because black lightning is the only skill that can stop shadow movement. I've been suspicious of you from the beginning, he continued. Tell me, who exactly are you? What really happened between you and Kurosaki in the Snow Mountain? Is this all part of your plan? Sano cursed internally. Damn it, how should I explain this? I shouldn't have come in alone with him. Sano knew he had no choice. I have to do this, he thought. Then, he activated Control Copy Giant King Spider Silk. Instantly, countless silk threads shot out, completely surrounding Shirasaki. He was quickly wrapped into a tight ball. However, the very next second, something happened inside that ball. Bang! The silk ball exploded instantly. Shirasaki reappeared right in front of Sano. If you don't confess honestly, Shirasaki warned, you'll really die here. Sano wondered, would he really kill me? Why is he so angry? Shirasaki had completely transformed, his aura turning dark as he prepared to unleash his full power. Faced with this dire situation, Sano knew he had only one choice. He immediately summoned his system panel and pulled out 2 bottles of the highest quality potions. The potion description read, Effect, heals 95% of damage, cannot be used in combination. No effect if target is already dead. Just then, Shirasaki launched his attack. Countless bolts of black lightning shot directly towards Sano. Sano felt extreme anxiety as his health continuously dropped. He yelled, Control 5, health below 25%, activate Carecia Dragon Sword skill, Berserk mode. He commanded, Control 5, equip Carecia Dragon Sword. Instantly, Sano's aura surged, dispelling all the surrounding black lightning. He glared at Shirasaki. You forced me to do this, Sano growled. Sano then swung a heavy sword strike. Shirasaki cried out, Damn it, what happened? A huge explosion erupted, leaving Shirasaki covered in wounds, blood trickling from the corner of his mouth. Then, a memory flashed. Brother, what should we call our guild? I hope it becomes the strongest in the future. How about Future Guild? I like that name, another voice replied. The memory continued. We'll definitely make it the strongest guild in the future. Brother, I'll help you become the world's strongest hunter. The world's strongest hunter. That sounds really good, the other voice agreed. Another scene emerged from the past. 10 years ago, they had faced even the King of Hell without fear, eventually defeating him. However, during preparations for a dungeon raid, they discovered an unidentified person had infiltrated their team. But Shirasaki didn't care at all. This dungeon is pretty famous, so it's normal not to recognize everyone who shows up. Plus, we have your return skill, which means we can escape any danger inside. Even so, Nanki was still very worried. Then, at the very end of the dungeon raid, an accident still happened. The bandaged man suddenly attacked everyone. You bastard, what are you doing? Someone yelled. The bandaged man replied, This is dark magic addiction toxin. When exposed to air, people's minds will slowly become contaminated. Soon they'll turn into low-level monsters, even worse than ghouls. He then demanded, Give me the antidote quickly, or I'll kill you. You must have gotten the final reward from this dungeon raid, the shadow movement skill. Give it to me, and I'll tell you how to save your brother. He added, Without dark magic power though, that skill is useless. With no other choice, Shirasaki handed the skill over. The man continued, The ancestral sword glory from the Cooper family of Country Y. This is the only way to keep you from being poisoned. What? You won't give me the antidote? You bastard, Shirasaki yelled. The bandaged man just laughed. There's no antidote for dark magic addiction. Oh, and by the way, this dungeon is a moving dungeon. Once it's successfully raided, the dungeon moves on, and this entire place collapses. You bastard! You never intended to let us go from the beginning, Shirasaki shouted. Goodbye, little guy, the bandaged man said. As he left, the dungeon began to collapse. Nanki, holding something, said, This is something I found in the boss room earlier. I don't know what it is, but it's definitely not ordinary. Brother, I can't continue walking with you. No. As Nanki's return skill activated, Shirasaki found himself alone back in the guild office the very next second. He was grief-stricken, shouting up at the sky. Back in the present, 10 years have passed since that day. I've searched every dungeon, but I never found that moving dungeon again. I know the chances of my brother still being alive are low, but even if it's just his remains, I have to bring him back. No wonder he's called the Dungeon Otaku. Just now, that was thanks to the Dragon Sword's effect. This is is also why I studied dark magic power and dark skills. I don't care about the International Hunter Association's rules at all. Most dark skills should have been destroyed long ago. Shadow movement is an even rarer skill. Probably only that bandaged man can still use it. So, you wanted to ask how Kurosaki and I learned it? Fine, I'll tell you. No need, someone interrupted. You just used the Carisia dragon sword, right? I don't think Ares would give that to you. I roughly know your skill. It's similar to theft, right? Just like the sword, you stole the shadow movement skill. I'm very sorry for misunderstanding you. So you're just someone who uses thief skills. Shirasaki retorted, if you're going to apologize, can you remove the word thief? He then added, once the dimensional key collection is complete, I want to join you. Meanwhile, on the other side, Kurosaki had just planted another contaminated world tree. After resolving the misunderstanding, Sano and Shirasaki walked out of the treasury. Everyone was curious about what had happened inside, but Sano just made up a random excuse. I just got news, he said. The third contaminated world tree has appeared. Based on its location, we can now predict Kurosaki's next move. Before that, though, we need to gather hunters near Ginza. From the barrier's size and location, I predict the subspace will appear in Ginza itself. If we can stop him before the fourth world tree appears, we should be fine. I need to go back to the association to gather hunters. Do you two want to come along? No, that's all right. We still have preparations to make. So everyone split up to handle their own tasks. Meanwhile, somewhere in Europe, Michael Sama and his guild members were holding a secret meeting. They had just received a support request from Country H. And of course, Country M had been notified as well. The time had come. The subspace will open normally, right? One asked. Of course, Michael replied. The subspace opening is inevitable. The subspace will be packed with goblins and half-orc monsters. Just goblins and half-orc monsters? Someone scoffed. Are you underestimating Country H's hunters? Michael just smiled. Don't worry, everything is going according to plan. Still, don't underestimate the situation. Once the subspace opens in City C, there will be a huge debuff. We absolutely must succeed this time. That's for sure, someone agreed. Soon after, the ferryman left. Meanwhile, in the White House in Country M, a different conversation was happening. Has that thing really appeared in Country H? A commander asked. Yes, an aide confirmed. It first appeared in Country Y 15 years ago. These entities, they come from the same dimension as the Dark Souls subspace. This situation is incredibly dangerous for us. If a direct passage between the two worlds opens, it could mean the end for everyone. I heard the International Hunter Association has already sent people to support them, another official noted. Just then, the secretary nearby received an urgent phone call. Commander, she announced, there's a video call from the Hunter Association. After getting approval, the TV screen was immediately turned on. An anxious face appeared. Mr. Commander, the person on screen began. We've encountered big trouble. Things might be getting out of control. According to our reports, the Rattlesnake Guild's plane is already flying towards Country H, the commander exclaimed. You mean Turner is going too? He paused, then added, Turner carries most of the guild's special equipment. He's like a nuclear bomb that could explode at any moment. I just hope he doesn't act recklessly. This is no longer just Country H's problem, the commander stated gravely. Select the best group of hunters and send them there for immediate support. With that, the scene shifted back to the third contaminated world tree. Lucas stood far away on a rooftop, silently watching the colossal tree. Just like Kurosaki said, he thought to himself, I'm now the same as him. A heavy sigh escaped him. Even though it was to protect my family, all of this, it's because of me. It all started the day he gained the skill, Control F. Instantly, various information from the media flooded his mind. It was a torrent of people's resentment and hope. He could even feel the consciousness and death of monsters. For an entire week, he nearly lost consciousness and couldn't do anything at all. Finally, in desperation, he tried to kill himself to stop the curse of Control F, but ironically, that was when he discovered the way to break it. His family possessed a treasured heirloom, the Angel Sword, a holy blade. As long as he held it, the curse of Control F would be suppressed. Later, he gradually began to adapt to the curse's power. Then, a major incident occurred. A gate to another dimension opened in Country Y. Western hunters soon came to their home, wanting to borrow the holy sword. His father, wanting to protect Lucas, firmly refused. As a result, Country Y suffered tremendous losses, and the Cooper family lost much of its status and power. This spurred Lucas to begin researching the curse's power himself. After trying every method imaginable, he discovered a dark truth. Only dark magic could truly control this curse. If he ever let his guard down, he would easily lose control of the skill. That's why he always kept the holy sword by his side. Finally, he met them, and thanks to them, his family was able to rise again. But the price was steep. Michael Sama had threatened him, demanding he use Control F to find all the cursed ones. Once found, Michael would kill them and steal their cursed power. He had used the excuse of protecting his family for far too long. The truth? I'm just afraid of death, he admitted to himself. I'm a coward. Now that we know who has control skill, if this curse falls into Michael-sama's hands, who knows what might happen? I want to see for myself. So, Lucas sealed away the holy sword. Instantly, the cursed power erupted. As the curse's ability activated, Lucas's consciousness was drawn into a mysterious space. He followed the previous clues, searching continuously. He found his location. Control C. 10,000 meters above, a plane was flying toward the island nation. Inside was Turner, the world's #1 hunter. Boss, if we're going to the island nation, why are we taking a plane like this? Richard, did you forget our guild's motto? Of course I haven't forgotten. Once you let your guard down, danger can strike suddenly. I understand what you mean. I'll be more careful next time. 15 years ago, during the Great Disaster, I was already an A-rank hunter. I almost died. In the end, it was the Western hunters who saved me. Not long after, a transcendent being from another dimension granted me a skill. Soon, I became the world's #1 hunter thanks to that skill. After that disaster ended, Scion entrusted this to me for safekeeping. Turner held a multi-dimensional fragment, #2, glowing with golden light. This is the first time in 15 years it has resonated. What exactly is happening in the island nation? I must uncover the truth behind all of this. Meanwhile, above Ginza in the island nation, the demonic energy grew increasingly dense. Hunters were all rushing to this location. The pollution concentration was highest here, so the subspace would definitely open in this spot. The Great Sage Guild was responsible for the World Tree at the hospital. Guildmaster Shinoda Shiro used magic circles to control the dark energy there. Guildmaster Takuchi sent his guild members to support various areas. He sat alone in central Ginza, waiting for the subspace to open. The other smaller guilds were responsible for evacuating civilians. By the way, where did Hunter Sano go? He said he had some things to handle first. The scene then shifts to a shopping mall in Ginza. Sano's group was each carrying several bags. Even Little Stone was carrying a backpack. Just then, Lucas arrived, carrying his sword. How did you know we were here? I don't want to waste words with you right now. I'm here for Hunter Sano. Seeing the holy sword in Lucas's hand, Sano remembered the story Shirosaki had told him. If I could copy this sword, maybe I could purify that filthy dark energy. Thinking this, Sano immediately vanished. The next second, he appeared behind Lucas. Just as he was about to touch the holy sword, Lucas noticed him. Sano immediately pulled back. Don't do such strange things. I already know all your skills, including your copying skill, Control Plus. These words shocked Sano. How did he know my secret? However, Sano still pretended not to understand what Lucas meant. Pretending ignorance is useless. My family and I are risking our lives for this. Just as the attack was about to hit Sano, he immediately used his shadow movement skill. He appeared behind Lucas. However, Lucas's holy sword was the natural enemy of dark skills. Lucas immediately activated his skill. The holy sword began to emit brilliant light. This is bad. I can't use shadow movement. That's the holy sword's power. Its light can purify darkness within a 10-meter radius. Now let's see where you run. This is getting troublesome. Should I use the Kalisha Dragon Sword? Do you know? I've been looking for you for a long time. I want to know how you control the Control Plus skill. I get it now. You're one of the cursed, too. You're planning to kill me and steal my skill. You're just like Kurosaki. Those words instantly enraged Lucas, and he immediately charged with his sword. Sano was caught off guard by this sudden attack and was pierced by the sword. Lucas couldn't believe how smoothly it went, but it was all part of Sano's plan. He had finally touched the holy sword. Control Plus. The holy sword began merging with its user. Sano successfully copied the holy sword. He immediately pulled out a high-grade healing potion. The moment he drank it, his wound instantly healed. Only then did Lucas realize Sano had intentionally let himself be stabbed, just to copy the holy sword. I'll ask you one last time. What do you plan to do with Control C? Do you even need to ask? Of course, to become the world's strongest hunter, an existence even stronger than the transcendent ones. However, Lucas wasn't satisfied with that answer. He attacked Sano again. We don't have much time, Sano said. Didn't you hear when you received the curse? Now there are only 5 years left until the great disaster. Lucas truly didn't know. When he received the curse, he'd gotten too much information all at once. He couldn't filter it all. This hourglass mark, it's a countdown. Just then, strange sounds erupted from the sky. Is it starting now? Someone wondered. The dark subspace from another dimension was about to open. Once it opens, it will designate a contaminated area. In that area, all hunters' HP and MP will decrease by 30%. On top of that, the use of ordinary magic skills will be restricted. If this subspace fully opens, this city will become a living hell. The elf's mission was complete. Should I go back to report? Someone thought. Just then, countless black lightning bolts struck down toward Kurosaki. Shirosaki arrived, along with Ares. You can't leave because you're about to die here. Too bad you're too late, Shirosaki scoffed. The subspace opening can't be stopped. This city is finished. That's fine by me, Shirosaki continued. My target is you. Besides, the subspace's negative effects won't affect me. You think you're the only one unaffected by negative debuffs? Kurosaki retorted. With that, he pulled a long sword from thin air. Let me show you what real dark magic looks like. Meanwhile, the scene shifts to the Hunter Association. All hunters received a system notification about the subspace opening. I've never seen such ridiculous debuffs, one hunter exclaimed. Restricting magic skills? How are we mages supposed to fight? Several mages tried casting spells, but none could activate. Suddenly, a massive tornado erupted from the city center. Then, a huge spatial rift appeared before everyone's eyes. Then, a figure stepped out of the spatial rift. This newcomer was the mastermind behind everything. It looks like everyone's here. The show is about to begin. The hunters below were puzzled. What's going on? A subspace this big, and only one elf appeared? Wait, everyone looked down. Countless monsters poured out of the subspace. Their sheer numbers sent everyone into a panic. Are you kidding me? Can we possibly handle this many? One hunter exclaimed. The mastermind spoke again. I've been patient for 15 years. Everyone, vent to your heart's content. Immediately, all the monsters began to charge. But a bald man stepped forward to greet them. Think you can win with just numbers? You underestimate us. With that, Takuchi activated his stone armor. He began throwing heavy punches at the approaching monsters. He declared, I don't need magic to activate my stone armor. Dealing with them one by one is too troublesome. Come at me all at once. Takuchi's provocation instantly enraged the monsters in front of him, but the very next second, they were torn apart by a powerful force. Master Takuchi is so strong! Let's go help too! With that, the two armies clashed. Hunter Nanase also rushed to the scene, joining the fray. Meanwhile, on President Fuwa's side, monsters were actually closing in on him. Just as they were about to strike the guildmaster, President Fuwa pulled out a giant shield and blocked their advance. The giant shield perfectly blocked all the monsters' attacks. Then, he raised it high and swung it down. He directly cut the monster in front of him in half. The sheer power of the attack even cleaved through the monsters behind it. This giant shield acted just like a sword. Even without using any skills, its power was immense. While these giant monsters were easy for President Fuwa and Master Takuchi to handle, they proved too difficult for the other hunters. There were simply too many enemies. If this continued, everyone would be in grave danger. At that moment, Nanis found herself targeted by monsters. A giant bird swooped down, but Nanis dodged just in time. This was a boss griffin, level 150, known for ambushing enemies. It was actually a boss-level monster. Are we really seeing boss-level monsters this soon? One hunter wondered. The griffin itself isn't the terrifying part. The real danger lies in the flames it breathes, which won't extinguish until they burn their target completely to ash. And with our recovery skills sealed, Nanes thought, if anyone gets hit by those flames, they're finished. I have to stop it before it breathes fire. However, the very next second, terrifying flames erupted from the griffin's mouth, streaking straight for Hunter Nanis. Nanis gasped, "This is bad. I'm going to be engulfed by these flames." Just then, a figure suddenly flashed in front of her. The very next second, massive flames engulfed them both. But from within the inferno, President Fuwa held up his giant shield, splitting the flames cleanly in two. "Hunter Nanase, this guy is yours. Cut off its head. You need to stop it from breathing more flames." Hunter Nanase immediately charged toward the monster after receiving the command. The griffin saw this and breathed flames again, completely surrounding the area. But this alone couldn't stop Nanase. She leaped high. She swung Witch's Blade down hard at the griffin's head, but it surprisingly dodged. Then it raised its giant claw, preparing to stomp down. Nanase quickly raised her blade to block. Damn! I didn't expect this giant bird to be so agile. Just then, the griffin suddenly sensed danger. It immediately flew into the sky to avoid the attack. It was President Fuwa attacking again. I think I made things worse. Now that it's in the air, it's even more troublesome to deal with. The griffin could breathe flames even from high in the sky. "Nanase, stay behind me!" However, Nanase advanced instead of retreating. "Guildmaster, cover me! I can definitely take that guy down." President Fuwa smiled slightly. Then he threw the giant shield with force. Nanase used the shield in midair to jump again, landing on the griffin's back. She raised the witch's blade and swung it down hard. The next second, the griffin's head was severed. It crashed heavily to the ground. But then they discovered the griffin's corpse was continuously leaking dark magic. They had finally defeated a boss-level monster, but it was making the dark magic even denser. It seemed the higher a monster's level, the more magic it released after death. On the battlefield, Hunter hunters couldn't use their skills, and they were being pushed back by the monsters. "We can't continue like this. Bring out your trump cards." A mage pulled out a magic scroll, and a magic circle appeared from it. The powerful force instantly cut the monsters to pieces. However, magic scrolls were one-time items that disappeared immediately after use. Well done. That power was incredible. Don't celebrate too early. I don't have many magic scrolls left. Just then, a red-clothed hunter behind them suddenly coughed blood, writhing in pain. Ikunaga wanted to help, but the next second, he too painfully coughed blood. What's happening? It's contamination. The more monsters we kill, the more dark magic leaks from their corpses. Now we're suffering from magic poisoning. Too bad you only realize this now. It's too late. Every monster in this dark subspace has been infused with a dark aura. When they die, they release contaminated magic. You thought killing them would make you safe, but their deaths will ultimately kill you. Enjoy yourselves. There are countless monsters still inside this subspace. Ikunaga looked at this scene in despair. Was the island nation finished? Just then, a familiar voice came from behind. "Stand up! It's not over yet. This is just the beginning." Sano's group arrived at the battlefield carrying large and small bags. Ikunaga was surprised to see Sano. He was about to ask why when Sano quickly handed him a healing potion. "Drink this first," Sano urged. "Don't worry," Sano said. "Leave everything to us from now on." Ikunaga couldn't believe it. Is this still the Sano I know? He wondered. Sano then opened his system panel. "First, let me deal with this terrible debuff," he declared. He activated Control-E Magic Infinite Copy. The next second, countless magical energy emanated from Sano. Hunters who had been unable to use their skills suddenly found their powers returning. President Fuwa also noticed the drastic changes happening around him. Even though the subspace's debuff hadn't fully disappeared, this continuous magic supply allowed hunters to use their skills once more. "This large-scale magic output is incredible," President Fuwa exclaimed. The elfman was visibly shocked by this massive influx of power. Sano was essentially using vast amounts of magic to counteract the subspace's debuff. How is this possible? The elfman wondered. Could it be Control Plus? However, even with this newfound magic, the sheer number of monsters couldn't be dealt with so quickly. Sano's team continued to push deeper into the front lines, still carrying their mysterious bags. Suddenly, a group of giant monsters appeared right in front of them. "Are we too close?" someone asked. "Don't worry," Sano replied. "Take out what's in the bags." The others immediately opened their bags. Countless small, round balls rolled out onto the ground. Nearby hunters looked puzzled. "What are they doing?" one whispered. "Go, my minions!" Sano commanded. "Take them all down!" The round balls, which had just scattered, suddenly transformed into small gargoyles. They immediately charged toward the monsters. However, the first few gargoyles were quickly smashed by the monsters' powerful punches. "Damn," Sano muttered. "Even with so many gargoyles, is it not enough?" But then, a swarm of small gargoyles climbed up one monster's arm. They attacked its vulnerable points, swarming it. In moments, they brought the massive creature down. It was a clear demonstration. Even small creatures, like ants, could take down an elephant if there were enough of them. Just like that, thanks to the gargoyles' relentless attacks, defeating these giant beasts became much easier. Soon, Sano's gargoyles evolved. They reached level 3, gaining new abilities. Skill 1 allowed them to create puppets based on Sano's image, and previously created puppets could be recreated. Skill 2, Puppet Armor, could transform them into stone armor, covering Sano's entire body. Skill 3 granted Sano the ability to share sensory vision and hearing with his created puppets, and Skill 4 enabled him to give them specific commands. Seeing all this new information, Sano was extremely excited. Sano immediately commanded all the gargoyles to gather together. They began to transform and merge right before everyone's eyes. "Come forth, my combined beast," he shouted. From the merging mass, a massive stone dragon rose from the ground. It flapped its mighty wings and soared directly into the sky. Other hunters watched this incredible scene in complete disbelief. "Am I seeing things?" someone gasped. The gargoyles actually became a flying dragon. Other dragons already in the sky immediately noticed this new stone behemoth. They wasted no time, breathing massive flames directly at the stone dragon. In an instant, the stone dragon was completely engulfed in fire. It was instantly incapacitated. The other dragons saw this and quickly flew towards it. They struck the stone dragon directly on its head. The stone dragon crashed heavily to the ground, shattering into countless pieces. Everyone felt sorry for it, but then the pieces transformed into small stone dragons. dragons. They quickly reassembled and attacked the dragon in the sky. The dragon in the sky saw this. It breathed scorching flames again. The small stone dragons were immediately engulfed by the fire. Their bodies began spinning rapidly, blocking out all the flames. The next second, the small stone dragons burst from the fire. They instantly pierced right through the dragon. The small stone dragon's speed didn't decrease at all. Soon, they had taken care of all the dragons in the sky. This massive amount of experience instantly made me level up several times. Hunters nearby watched this scene in shock. Now we could focus on the monsters on the ground. I activated auto hunt mode. Lucas, standing nearby, stared in shock at the pile of dragon remains on the ground. Is this the true power of control? He wondered. It feels like it's exceeded the curse's power. Has the curse even been purified? Just then, Sano appeared behind Lucas. He wanted to ask who had opened the subspace. However, Lucas couldn't risk his family and refused to betray them. No matter what, he wouldn't. Let me tell you, the real chaos hasn't even begun, he said. Just then, the ground beneath them started to crumble. Countless vines erupted from the ground, instantly wrapping up Sano. Lucas was lucky enough to dodge them, but the vines didn't give up. They attacked Lucas again. After another dodge, he immediately drew his holy sword, planning to purify them. Unexpectedly, his hands and feet were bound. Then his entire body was swallowed. The whole area quickly became covered by vines. Damn, what are these vines? He thought. And they just keep moving. Someone must be controlling them. Looking up, he saw an elf man floating in the air. Why would an elf appear in our dimension? He wondered. Master Shirasaki pursued them all the way here. However, he found his black lightning couldn't harm the elf. Don't you understand? The elf taunted. I've already overcome the corruption of dark magic. Like this. He attacked Master Shirasaki. The black magic at his sword tip touched Shirasaki's shield. The shield instantly dissolved and shattered completely. Even though Shirasaki dodged backward immediately, a wound was still carved on his face. Not everyone can do that, Shirasaki muttered. The dark magic around the elf grew even denser. How did he manage to use such massive magic? He wondered. I suspect my black lightning was absorbed by him. The next second, Kurosaki swung his sword forcefully. A massive wave of sword energy shot toward Ares and Shirasaki. Both quickly dodged to the sides. This strike directly split the building in half. Now your mortal skills are all useless against me, Kurosaki declared. Just as he was about to attack again, Ares immediately used ice magic, freezing Kurosaki to the ground. Shirasaki was curious. Has the subspace's debuff disappeared? He asked. You can use magic now? No, Kurosaki responded. It's probably the effect of Sano's infinite magic. I can currently use about 50% of my power, and that's enough to stall him. As Kurosaki's magic erupted, the ice blocks beneath him instantly shattered. Ares tried to use the same trick again, but as he moved to freeze Kurosaki, Kurosaki quickly jumped into the air. He then charged directly at them. Think you can trap me? Kurosaki challenged. I'm the guildmaster of the Blood Tower Guild. At this critical moment, Ares quickly activated a magic barrier. You might not know, he said. My dark magic can absorb ordinary magic and become stronger. Immediately, the magic barrier began to dissolve and disappear. Seeing this, Ares quickly pulled a magic scroll from his pocket. He tore it in half. The magic runes inside instantly formed a new barrier. Are you struggling in your death throes? Kurosaki mocked. Planning to absorb it again, he immediately raised his sword to stab. The next second, the barrier instantly shattered. Fortunately, Shirasaki blocked in front of Ares just in time. He released a burst of black lightning at Kurosaki. Kurosaki quickly raised his sword to block the attack. Seeing his chance, Ares used ice magic again. Countless ice spikes stabbed toward Kurosaki, instantly trapping him. Tell me, Ares demanded, where did you get the shadow movement skill? Otherwise, I'll make you wish you were dead. You chased me all this way just for this? Kurosaki scoffed. Do you know, I heard some interesting things from Lucas. Kurosaki's magic erupted around him. A large amount of magic quickly engulfed Shirasaki. When Shirasaki opened his eyes again, he found himself back in a cave. A man lay on the ground beneath him. It was Nanki, his brother, poisoned by magic. Meanwhile, on the other side of the battlefield, the elf man came to Lucas. He took the holy sword from Lucas's hand. I thought it would take me a long time to get it, he mused. You approached me for the holy sword from the beginning, didn't you? Lucas accused. No, the elf man replied. Your Control F ability is also essential. It can help me quickly find Control C. If the holy sword's power combines with Control C, I might be able to save my world. Let me tell you something, he continued. In the elf world, some elves are cursed, and I'm one of them. What? Michael, you're also cursed? Lucas exclaimed. So you want to steal Control C? Really? Unfortunately, Michael admitted. While I'd like to do that, I can't absorb curses from another dimension. The original plan was to have me kill you, so your curse would transfer to me. Lucas was furious. So, they had planned to abandon him from the start. Just then, a voice came from behind Michael. I think I heard something interesting. Sano suddenly appeared. He raised his sword for a sneak attack, but it was blocked by vines. So you copied the shadow movement skill, Michael observed. He then curled the vines to attack Sano. It's you, isn't it? Sano retorted. The one who opened the subspace and threw this city into chaos. Control 5. Giant king spider's spider silk. Instantly, countless spider silks surrounded Michael. Is this your cursed copying skill? How ridiculous, Michael scoffed. His body sprouted several vines to protect him. Such things can't hurt me. Do you really think so? Sano challenged. Immediately, the spider silk sprouted countless spikes. It then continuously wound and contracted around the vines. Soon, the silk crushed them. Michael jumped back the moment the vines shattered. You not only merged your skills, but you also strengthened them. Is this your strongest curse? Sano teleported behind him once more. What's wrong? Scared of my skills? Michael dodged Sano's attack again. Yeah, but that just makes me want to steal it even more. That's exactly what I wanted to say. Sano quickly reached out to touch him, activating Control C, search subspace. No copyable object found. Sano couldn't believe it. Unfortunately, you can't copy anything from me, Michael retorted. Michael then curled his vines to attack Sano, wrapping him up again. Meanwhile, Lucas had already broken free from the vines on his end. This is bad. Without the Holy Sword's suppression, Sano realized he could no longer control the Control F curse. Suddenly, a massive flood of information rushed into his mind. Sano's phantom and Michael's phantom seemed to share an energy link. Why were they connected? Could it be related to the subspace? There was only one way for Sano to copy Michael's skill. Meanwhile, on the other side of the battlefield, Kurosaki had just broken through the ice spikes. Master Shirosaki was still trapped in the illusion, completely unable to resist. So now I just need to kill this mage and I win, Kurosaki declared, charging toward Ares. Ares quickly used an ice wall to block the attack, but it shattered instantly. Massive magic then surrounded him. Ares quickly retreated, but he knew running was useless. Just die obediently, Kurosaki sneered. Then, Ares' magic suddenly changed. Only those who master one thing are truly powerful. How could I lose to someone like you? Kurosaki suddenly noticed the sky had darkened. He looked up and saw a massive iceberg falling from the sky. Its terrifying power destroyed the entire street. Are you crazy? Dropping something like that in the city center? Kurosaki yelled. I almost thought I was going to die, Kurosaki exclaimed. Suddenly, his body was frozen again. Don't worry, Ares said calmly. The ordinary residents here have already been evacuated. Now wait for Master Shirosaki's wrath. Only then did Kurosaki realize. Shirosaki, floating in the sky, had already broken free from the illusion. How did you do that? Did you absorb the abyss? Kurosaki asked. I said I would personally send you away, Shirosaki replied. He released a terrifying attack, directly piercing Kurosaki. However, Master Shirosaki's eyes now held a strange look. Don't you still have questions for him? Kurosaki asked, surprised. No need anymore. I already got the information I wanted. Sending me to the abyss was his biggest mistake, Shirosaki continued. I discovered a hint about how to overcome dark magic addiction in the abyss. But now, let's go to Sano's side first. So, what exactly did you see in the abyss? Kurosaki questioned. I found hope for victory. Meanwhile, on Sano's side, the battle continued. Sano immediately vanished. He then reappeared behind Michael, swinging his sword, but Michael blocked it with the holy sword in his hand. Your teleportation skill is too annoying, Michael remarked. Let me help you seal it. Michael stabbed the holy sword toward Sano's feet. Instantly, the shadows beneath Sano were dispelled. There, now you can't teleport anymore. The next second, Michael sent out vines, trapping Sano once more. Sano was instantly ensnared, unable to escape. Michael raised his sword for a strike. Sano quickly brought his own blade up to block, but his long sword shattered on impact. No way! It looks like ordinary swords won't cut it here. Control 5. Use Kalisha Dragon Sword. Sano instantly pulled out his strongest trump card. A single strike shattered the vines that bound him. The massive sword light shot straight toward Michael. When the smoke cleared, Michael had surprisingly caught the blow. The Kalisha Dragon Sword's power is truly terrifying. Without the holy sword, that would have been dangerous. Don't think it's over yet. Sano leaped high, his sword raised. But before he could swing down, a portal suddenly opened behind Michael. Michael vanished into it. Sano's strike sailed through empty air. Suddenly, the portal reappeared, and the holy sword struck Sano in a single blow. Even with your increased level from the sword, your combat experience is still lacking. Damn, I didn't expect the subspace could be used for movement. How can I copy that? Lost in thought, Sano pulled out a healing potion. He quickly drank it. High-level healing potions can fully close external wounds, but they can't repair internal damage. These potions are made with divine power, so they can't completely heal damage from the holy sword itself. Let's see what else you can copy. There's nothing left for you to copy, but it seems I don't need anything else. As soon as he finished speaking, hellfire blasted straight at Michael. Damn, who is this? The massive blast of power ripped the holy sword right from Michael's hand. It flew through the air and embedded itself in the ground nearby. To block the hellfire, Michael immediately summoned vines. He barely managed to hold them back. It was Hunter Nanus, arriving just in time. Are you okay? Thank you so much. You came at the perfect moment. Thanks to your gargoyles, most of the monsters are down. Master Takuchi is also on his way. At that moment, the holy sword, which had been nearby, flew back into Lucas's hand. Michael, I'll make you pay. Your flames are impressive, but how long can they last? He then sent several vines to attack Nana's. My hellfire isn't afraid of your broken tree roots. Is that so? Then how about this? The next second, countless vines suddenly sprouted up around Hunter Nana's. They instantly surrounded her. In this situation, using hellfire would only hurt her. However, the next moment, all the vines were sliced into pieces by the witch's blade. I don't only know hellfire! While Michael's attention was on Nana's, Sano seized the opportunity. He teleported behind him for a sneak attack. A massive slash instantly engulfed her, but once again, she dodged it using her subspace ability. Looks like I need to get serious to deal with all of you, she said. She waved her arm, and the ground beneath Nana's and Sano began to crack. Soon, flower buds emerged from the earth, continuously releasing dark magic. Seeing this, Hunter Nana's immediately unleashed hellfire. She intended to burn them all away. However, as the flowers burned, even more dark magic spread. The magic these flowers released was 10 times stronger than anything from the pollution tree. Just touching it would cause contamination. And even worse, attacking the flowers would only spread their spores further. Damn, I should have copied the holy sword instead of shadow movement, Sano thought. At this critical moment, Lucas, who was nearby, activated the holy sword skill. He instantly purified all the surrounding dark magic. Both Sano and Nanas looked at him in surprise. They couldn't believe Lucas would actually help them. This unexpected action instantly enraged Michael. Meanwhile, Missile unleashed a barrage of vines to attack Lucas. You betrayed me first, Missile snarled, so don't blame me for being ruthless. As Lucas pressed his attack, he quickly closed in on Missile, launching his sword technique, prayer thrust. Countless sword lights stabbed toward Missile, but his vines blocked them. They were then slowly pushed into his subspace. Do you think you can defeat me with the power of the holy sword? How naive, Missile taunted. Is that so? Lucas replied. Normally, yes. But I discovered your subspace is part of the dark spirit, right? I'm curious what will happen when a holy sword pierces through it. The next second, the holy sword struck Missile's subspace, which was behind him. Missile quickly controlled his vines, attacking Lucas and sending him flying to a nearby area. Despite this, cracks still appeared in the subspace, looking like glass about to shatter. Nana seized the opportunity, rushing forward with her blade. Looks like you have nowhere left to run, she declared. Missile, now in a panic, reacted quickly. Being hit by hellfire would be extremely troublesome for him. He immediately controlled his vines to block the incoming hellfire. However, the terrifying flames quickly consumed them all. Looking at the inferno before them, with no movement inside, it seemed their enemy was either dead or severely injured. At this moment, Lucas turned to Sano and asked, You can't copy Missile's subspace, can you? Sano replied, That's right. His subspace isn't a skill. It's an item, much like the holy sword itself. Missile is an elf from another dimension, and his subspace connects to other dimensions. Lucas then wondered, but how can he stay in our world for so long? As far as I know, remaining in another dimension long-term requires massive amounts of magic power. You're absolutely right, Sano confirmed. So I suspect Missile relies on some specific item, and it's very likely that his subspace is connected to this item. Lucas nodded. I see. Because I haven't touched this item, I can't copy this subspace at all. Speaking of which, Lucas continued, why are you suddenly willing to cooperate with me? Sano explained, I did want to kill you at first, but when I was captured by those corrupted trees, you didn't finish me off. If you had killed me then, you could have obtained my curse skill. Lucas just shook his head. You're overthinking it. I don't want to become a skill killer, Lucas stated simply. Nanas, who had overheard their entire conversation, was completely confused. What copying? What curse skill? She wondered. And how do you even have the Kalisha dragon sword? Didn't you return it to Ares? The situation immediately became awkward. Just as Sano struggled to find an explanation, strange sounds began to emanate from the hellfire. Then, massive vines burst from the ground, instantly extinguishing the terrifying flames. Missile stood tall atop the vines, covered in wounds. I originally planned to just play around with you casually before Michael arrived, he stated, but I still underestimated your strength. The real battle starts now. Immediately, numerous branches lashed out, attacking Sano and the others. Everyone quickly dodged upon seeing this sudden assault. Sano then asked Nanas to use flames to block Missile's vision. Nanasu instantly unleashed hellfire as commanded, forming a towering wall of flames. I immediately leaped onto the tree trunk. Then, I used Control-C to copy the corrupted World Tree's branch. A seed containing 1/3 of the World Tree was copied into my body. It can be absorbed and grown, promising the World Tree's life blessing once it blooms. However, anyone carrying 1/3 of the World Tree seed will forcibly absorb this skill if their health drops below 15%, losing the ability to use World Tree branches. It seems Missile is at the end of his rope. The next moment, Sano quickly summoned the World Tree's branches. Golden branches erupted from the ground, and Missile watched in shock as the black branches covering his body began to dissipate. Damn it, he cursed. That guy actually copied the corrupted World Tree. Lucas seized the opportunity, leaping high, determined to finish Missile off while he was vulnerable. Seeing this, Missile immediately tried to summon his own branches to attack, but failed. His World Tree branches were now completely unusable. In that critical moment, Missile quickly bent down to dodge the attack, but he didn't quite make it. A deep sword wound appeared on his chest. Damn it, he muttered. I didn't expect to be so pathetic. Just as he tried to summon the subspace to escape, I used Control-C. Simultaneously, I deployed Spider Silk and branches, instantly binding him tightly. Missile gritted his teeth. Once elves cross dimensions, they become monsters too, Hunter Nini declared. And my duty is to deal with monsters and protect citizens. With that, she swung her sword heavily. The terrifying hellfire immediately engulfed him. Missile howled in agony as the flames consumed him. I'm surprised that still couldn't kill you, I remarked. You forced my hand, Missile snarled. I'll make your world become like ours. The next second, a massive spatial crack ripped open behind him. Stop him quickly, Sano yelled. If he succeeds, the entire world will be in danger. He immediately recognized the massive spatial crack as the subspace's true form. Not wanting to miss this opportunity, Sano quickly charged toward Missile. His sharp sword, wrapped in golden light, pierced right through him. With tremendous power, Sano then charged into the subspace, dragging Missile along. This sudden turn of events left both Nanasu and Lucas stunned, unable to react. Inside the subspace, Sano found himself in a new dimension. The surroundings were pitch black, seemingly empty. Sano immediately crouched down, preparing to use his copy skill. Control-E. He tried to copy the subspace. A message appeared. Subspace is an item linking to another dimension. Cannot be fully copied. This left Sano confused. Could it be copied or not? Another message appeared, forcibly stripping the dark subspace from the target's body. A dimension key is required to use this space. Sano quickly pulled out the key and found it worked. He used Control-E. The system declared, upgraded to level 3, then upgraded to level 5. Now all copied items and skills could be stored in the subspace, ignoring compatibility restrictions. Great, he exclaimed. Now I can finally copy the Holy Sword. Meanwhile, Missile, still bound, began to tell his story. My homeland and Greece were both pushed to the brink of extinction, he revealed. This subspace was stolen from the fallen elf king Grammar. So, to get the complete subspace, I need to defeat him? Sano asked. Defeat him? Missile scoffed. He single-handedly brought my homeland to the brink of extinction. Before he could kill me, a dimensional door fortunately opened, and I barely escaped, arriving in this dimension. I sacrificed everything to bring this subspace here. Wait, Sano interjected. How did you turn it into an item? I used that dimension's curse, Missile replied. This revelation immediately shocked Sano. Another dimension also had curses? My curses are different. I was just as surprised as you when I found out this dimension also has curses. The problem is, I can't absorb curses from this world. I'm curious if your Control-C can copy them. So, my curse is your real target. If Michael kills you, just press Control-E. I'll immediately open the dimensional door connecting both worlds. That way the Elf King Grammar will descend here. If not for Saigon, he would have come here 15 years ago. Why are you telling me all this? Because you're about to die. Just as Sano was processing all this, a giant claw suddenly struck out at him. Fortunately, Sano reacted quickly, barely avoiding disaster. He looked in terror at the monster before him. It was actually a giant dragon. How was it in the subspace? This thing didn't look easy to deal with. If it got out, they would be finished. As Sano kept dodging the dragon's attacks, a brilliant light suddenly blocked its advance. Lucas was here too. You should have copied the subspace already, right? Lucas asked. This dragon was brought in by Missile. It's been corrupted by demonic energy. Leave this to me, Lucas declared. You quickly get out and close this space. However, just as Lucas finished speaking, the dragon roared. It broke free from the holy sword's restraint, sending Lucas flying hard. Lucas fell unconscious, and the holy sword slipped from his grasp. Seeing this, Sano quickly stopped. He shot spider silk toward Lucas. Meanwhile, in the outside world, Hunter Nanais received an experience notification. But she had only just fought with Missile, not actually killing any monsters. So, it seemed beings from other dimensions were indeed treated as monsters. Around this time, all the hunters gradually arrived. They stared at the spatial crack before them, discussing how to handle it. However, the crack suddenly began to show unusual activity. An explosion boomed from inside the subspace, and two figures were violently thrown out. It was Sano and the unconscious Lucas. Ignoring the surprise from onlookers, Sano ran toward the space entrance again. He had to close the subspace before that monster came out. As Sano's skill activated, the subspace entrance continuously shrank. However, just as it was about to close, a system warning suddenly popped up. It read, "Due to internal forces, the subspace cannot be closed and must remain open." How was this possible? Could it be that monster? At that very moment, the huge dragon's head emerged from the crack. Then, its entire body slowly walked out. Everyone looked in terror at the giant beast before them. "Everyone, run quickly!" someone yelled. "This isn't something we can handle." Maul immediately recognized the giant beast. "This is a dragon!" he gasped. 15 years ago, just one of them destroyed an entire kingdom. The dragon had completely flown out, directly sending Sano, who was still at the entrance, flying. "Damn it!" Sano cursed. "I have to stop it!" He immediately activated Control 5, using his World Tree Branches skill. The next second, numerous branches coiled toward the dragon, quickly wrapping it completely. It worked. The dragon was stopped. Just as everyone thought the crisis was resolved, the dragon roared. It broke free from the restraints, its mouth continuously spewing flames. "Damn it!" Sano yelled. "It's about to breathe fire!" Everyone, run. At that moment, Hunter Association President Fuwa raised his large shield. "It's too late," he declared. "Everyone get behind me." Master Shirasaki quickly directed the remaining people to join him. The very next second, the dragon unleashed massive flames, turning everything before it into a sea of fire. Miraculously, this terrible attack didn't result in a single casualty. The dragon's scales are incredibly hard. Normal physical attacks and magic can't harm it, but I have a method. We can use Michael to eliminate the dragon, but the problem is, his target is you. Just then, a helicopter appeared in the sky above the battlefield. Should we act now? Not yet. We need to wait until the dimensional fragment resonance strengthens. Meanwhile, just before the great battle, Missile and Michael were making their final preparations. I'll leave this matter to you. You'll be the one to open the dimensional door. Hunter Sagan should have already made arrangements to prevent the door from opening again. And take this. It's the Guardian Stone passed down through generations of my elf clan. If I'm killed, it will emit a brilliant light, guiding you to my true killer. That will be the best time for you to act. Back in reality, the Guardian Stone in Michael's hand was glowing red. A red beam shot straight down, pointing directly at Hunter Nanais below. Meanwhile, the dragon was still relentlessly destroying the city. Most hunters were only able to dodge. Then, Master Shirosaki raised his staff and unleashed his strongest skill, Black Lightning. However, even dark magic proved nearly useless against the dragon. The most effective method would likely be physical attacks, but the creature is simply too big. If ordinary hunters try to kill it, the casualties would be enormous. Damn it. If Master Takuchi Tsuyoshi were here, there might be a way. Where did he go at a time like this? In a corner of the battlefield, two hunters discovered strange, wriggling sludge. The next second, its temperature began to rise steadily. With a bang, a stone figure burst out of the sludge. It was Master Takuchi Tsuyoshi, transformed by the dragon's flames. Looking towards the dragon, he exclaimed, "Damn it! This thing is too big!" Beside him, small stone gargoyles began emerging from the ground. On the other side, I tried once more to use the World Tree's branches to restrain the dragon, but failed again. Then Lucas suggested, "We can put it back in the subspace." "No, if we do that, I won't be able to use the subspace. But we can use the Holy Sword. I know you copied the Holy Sword when you were in the subspace. Copy the Holy Sword tens of thousands of times, simultaneously using the power of holy light. I think that's feasible, but the real problem is how to push it into the subspace." Just then, Master Takuchi Tsuyoshi approached from behind. "Kid, I need to borrow your stone gargoyles," he said. Sano was puzzled, unsure of what he intended. "I'm going to make that big guy pay." They quickly reached an agreement. Sano would open the subspace door, and Master Takuchi Tsuyoshi would push the dragon in. Soon, the moving stone gargoyle cores were being pasted. Numerous cores were copied. The moment they hit the ground, they instantly transformed into small stone gargoyles. Master Takuchi Tsuyoshi immediately stepped forward, striking the ground with force. I hadn't expected the effect to be so good. The stone gargoyles matched his armor perfectly, but the dragon quickly stood up again. It seemed one hit wasn't enough, and Takuchi Tsuyoshi was about to try again. However, I acted first. I commanded all the stone gargoyles to shoot out, rushing directly into the dragon's mouth. The dragon crushed them with a bite, but that wasn't my real goal. The remaining stone gargoyles inside the dragon's mouth were preparing to self-destruct. Moments later, a huge explosion erupted. The attack knocked the dragon unconscious, sending it crashing to the ground. Everyone cheered, believing we had defeated the dragon. I had no time to explain. I immediately ran toward the beast, knowing I had to get it into the subspace before it woke up. I activated Control 5, opening the dark subspace. A spatial crack immediately appeared behind the dragon. "Master Takuchi Tsuyoshi, can you do it again?" I asked. "Your stone gargoyles all self-destructed, so I can't do it like before?" The situation was awkward. If I copied brand new stone gargoyles, their levels would be too low. Just then, Hunter Neen stepped forward with a suggestion. "We can use Hellfire's shockwave," she said urgently. "We must hurry!" If it woke up, it would be dangerous. But just then, the dragon had already awakened. Maul immediately warned everyone to run. The dragon opened its mouth again, ready to breathe fire. Hunter Nini immediately rushed toward it. "If we let it breathe fire, we're all done for," she exclaimed. Just as the dragon was about to breathe fire, Neen swung Hellfire with all her might. Hellfire shot straight toward the flames, but was immediately swallowed. In an instant, the entire block was filled with scorching flames. Seeing this, I immediately used my shadow movement skill, teleporting to Nene's side. I wrapped us both in spider silk, then controlled the silk ball, shooting it outward. We successfully reached a place unaffected by the flames. "Nene, how are you doing?" I asked. "I'm fine," she replied, "but my witch's blade..." Just as she finished speaking, the witch's blade appeared nearby. "I brought it along just now," I told her. I activated Control C. The system notified me that I had contacted the witch's blade and would automatically copy it. Because its properties conflicted with the holy sword, the witch's blade would be copied to the subspace. I hadn't expected items touched through spider silk could also be copied. Nene turned to look at the dragon. "This big guy's flames are too terrifying," she said. "How should we deal with it?" Just then a voice announced, "This is the moment." The voice continued, "Control F, cutting the target object." Immediately, a yellow light descended from the sky, covering the dragon. I and Nanis were also caught within the light's coverage. I looked up at the sky in shock, an ominous feeling washing over me. A system notification popped up. Control F. Discovered someone is using Control F. "Oh no, it's Michael," I thought. Lucas immediately shouted to me from outside the yellow light. "Danger! Get out of there immediately!" Reacting quickly, I immediately activated my skill, Control 5, using the giant king spider's silk. Immediately, black gas began rapidly covering the surroundings until everything turned completely dark. With a rumbling sound, both the dragon and the ground beneath it disappeared without a trace. What just happened? I wondered. Why is there suddenly a huge crater here? And where did the dragon go? Who was it? Just then, President Fua looked in shock toward the other side. Nanase was spitting blood, clearly in extreme pain. Nanase's arm had disappeared and blood stained her entire coat. Everyone immediately became extremely anxious upon seeing this. Shinoda Satoru cried as he asked me, "Why did my sister become like this? Arita Sara can definitely cure her, right?" "Don't worry," I promised. "I'll take her to find Arita Sara right away." He opened a subspace and picked up Nanase. As he entered, a voice called out, "Sano-senpai, please, you must cure my sister." Sano simply replied, "Leave it to me." Right after Sano left, a helicopter appeared overhead. It bore the Rising Star Guild's logo on its fuselage. Moments later, Michael and his subordinates landed on the ground. "Sorry," Michael said. "That attack was a bit excessive." Takuchi Tsuyoshi angrily walked over, ready for a confrontation. "Our hunter lost an arm because of your attack," he fumed. Michael shrugged. That dragon could have destroyed an entire country, so I had to use a bit more force. Michael added, just losing an arm is actually quite a bargain. Hearing his contemptuous words, Master Takuchi Tsuyoshi instantly flared up. As both sides were about to come to blows, President Fuwa arrived just in time, stepping between them. Sorry to interrupt, President Fuwa said. I'm the president of the Island Nation Hunter Association. Either way, thank you for your support. At that moment, Lucas walked over. He immediately exposed Michael's disguise. He's the mastermind behind all of this, Lucas declared. This revelation shocked both President Fuwa and Takuchi Tsuyoshi. Seeing his cover blown, Michael stopped pretending and smiled. That's right, Michael admitted. This was all my scheme. Unfortunately, you'll all be staying here forever. With that, he activated his skill. He uttered, Control A. Select all objects to be deleted. Meanwhile, Sano was continuously running through the subspace with Nanase. He quickly reached the hospital's space. Sano mused. Just as I guessed, with a subspace I can move freely within the corrupted tree's barrier. Inside the hospital room, a spatial crack suddenly appeared. Sano emerged, still carrying Nanase. Sarah, quickly, help look at Nanase's arm, he urged. Arita Sarah was still in shock from the scene before her. Sano had already activated another skill, Control 5, pasting infinite magic power. He knew that for Arita Sarah, as long as she had enough magic power, she could restore Nanase's arm. He then activated Control Plus, repositioning the target's arm. What they thought would be an easily treatable injury suddenly brought up an error message. Objects cut by Control 10 cannot be restored. Arita Sarah had never encountered a situation like this, and she panicked. I don't seem to be able to restore her, she stammered. A system message then appeared. This injury was caused by another curse and cannot be restored through Control Z, Sano cursed. Damn it, Sano thought. If that's the case, what would happen if I used copy-paste? He then copied the cut witch's blade. Control 5, pasting the witch's blade. Just as Sano believed he had succeeded, an error appeared. Cannot paste objects cut by Control 10. The witch's blade in his hand gradually dissipated. Even this won't work? Sano wasn't willing to give up. He continuously copied 3 witch's blades, but each attempt resulted in a failure notification. The copied blades on the ground instantly disappeared. Damn it! I don't believe it! Sano exclaimed. Control 5, infinite copying, Sano declared. Countless witches' blades were copied, only to immediately dissipate. He kept repeating this process, copying and dissipating. Everyone else in the room watched, stunned, as countless error pop-ups flooded the air. Finally, one witch's blade appeared that didn't disappear. An unknown error occurred, and now I can copy and paste objects cut by Control 10, Sano realized. I didn't expect it to actually work. He then turned to Arita Sarah and said, let's try again. Back on the battlefield, all the hunters suddenly had an inverted triangle target appear above their heads. This was Michael's Control A Select All skill in action. Immediately, several black lightning bolts struck the marked hunters. The terrifying power continuously bombarded the Rising Star Guild members. Michael activated Control H, swapping positions with a target. He suddenly vanished from his spot on the battlefield, instantly escaping the explosion. Seems you're good at dodging. Too bad I'm best at area magic. As he said this, he prepared to launch a large-scale attack. However, at that exact moment, Michael smiled coldly. Black lightning is indeed a troublesome skill, Michael mused. Then he snapped his fingers. I'll deal with you first. The next second, several small black spheres attacked Shirosaki. Surrounded by them, Shirosaki had nowhere to escape. Any parts touched by the spheres were instantly cut away, then fell straight to the ground. You damned bastard! Takuchi Tsuyoshi angrily charged at Michael. A huge impact sound rang out. Countless fragments scattered. The president of the island nation's #1 guild is nothing more than this, Michael scoffed. A semi-transparent barrier had formed in front of him. Takuchi Tsuyoshi's arm was destroyed the moment it made contact. What kind of skill is this? Even Takuchi Tsuyoshi's attack doesn't work, someone exclaimed. Don't be too shocked, Michael replied, activating his skill again. He used Control 10, cutting objects in front of him. A huge black sphere instantly formed. After the smoke cleared, only a massive crater remained. At the crater's edge, 2 figures stood behind a huge shield. Old man, mind your own business, one of them said. This isn't an ordinary skill. I almost couldn't block it. Even my shield has cracks. Hearing this, Takuchi Tsuyoshi was shocked. Isn't this shield supposed to be indestructible by any weapon or skill? Takuchi Tsuyoshi wondered. This legendary giant shield was made from legendary giant bones. To even withstand my curse skill, I advise you to stop while you can, Michael warned. Once the International Hunter Association knows about this, both you and your guild will be finished. What if there's no evidence or witnesses? Michael countered. With that, he activated his cutting skill again. Control +10, cutting selected targets. Countless black spheres then smashed against the giant shield. The terrifying power instantly exploded on the shield's surface. Let's see how long you can hold on, Michael taunted. Under his continuous bombardment, President Fuwa and Takuchi Tsuyoshi struggled to resist. The next second, the shield's phantom completely shattered. The terrifying black sphere then directly hit the shield's main body. Under the massive impact, Takuchi Tsuyoshi quickly grabbed President Fuwa's collar. President Fuwa narrowly dodged, but his shield was already in tatters. Takuchi Tsuyoshi wasn't so lucky. Half his body was cut away. The world's 5th-ranked hunter ending up like this is truly regrettable, Michael declared. Do you think you've already won? Takuchi Tsuyoshi countered, electricity crackling around his body. Actually, even if my body is blown to pieces, this stone armor won't be damaged. His missing arm slowly began regenerating. He finally transformed into a giant stone person, then swung an angry fist at Michael. However, just as the fist was about to hit, Michael teleported away. The next second, Michael appeared behind Takuchi Tsuyoshi. He activated Control +10 to cut the target, instantly destroying the stone armor's arm. But as long as there were stones nearby, the stone armor could quickly repair itself. It immediately raised its arm again, swinging at Michael, but it was cut away again. Damn it! It failed again! Takuchi Tsuyoshi cursed. An infinitely reviving stone person, truly worthy of the world's 5th-ranked hunter. You bastard, shut up! Takuchi screamed, swinging his fist again. No matter how Takuchi attacked, Michael easily dodged with his teleportation. You might have forgotten, Michael said. My world ranking is 2nd. With that, he quickly cut off another arm from the stone armor. Your attacks are completely futile, Michael stated. Even as he said it, the destroyed arm regenerated once more. Michael didn't let up though, launching dark sphere cuts all over the stone armor's body. It's useless, Michael scoffed. No matter how many times you try. It seemed like an endless stalemate, but Takuchi Tsuyoshi slowly started to notice something was wrong. The number of usable stones around them was decreasing. You finally realized, Michael said. You've already become much smaller. There probably aren't enough stones left to maintain such a large form, Michael continued. I used my skill to remove the stones. I'll make your existence completely disappear. Takuchi was completely panicked at this revelation. His stone armor ability relied on countless blocks, making it infinitely versatile. That's why he never feared anyone. But now, the very stones he depended on for survival were being eliminated by Michael. He simply couldn't accept this reality. Michael then raised his palm. The next second, he sliced away half of the stone armor's body. It's time to end this, Michael declared. Immediately after, he summoned dozens of dark spheres and bombarded Takuchi Tsuyoshi. When the smoke cleared, the stone armor slowly disintegrated. Inside, Takuchi Tsuyoshi was unconscious, falling straight to the ground. The surrounding hunters simply couldn't believe that Master Takuchi Tsuyoshi had lost. Anyone else want to fight me? Michael challenged. Just then, Ares, the head of the International Hunter Association's research department, floated into the air. A massive iceberg began to condense above her head. I will punish you, Ares stated firmly. Michael just laughed. Ha ha ha, do you really think you can do it? You're destined to fail, just like your mother. Don't insult my mother, Ares screamed, swinging her arm. The massive iceberg crashed down towards Michael. Is this the best method you can think of to beat me? How laughable, Michael scoffed. With that, he raised his hand and activated dozens of small dark spheres. The moment they made contact, a huge explosion erupted. The iceberg split cleanly in half, falling to either side of Michael. But then, unexpectedly, another iceberg attacked him from behind. Seeing this, Michael quickly activated his skill again. However, he couldn't destroy it fast enough. The enormous iceberg smashed directly into the city. The impact instantly engulfed the surroundings in thick smoke. Just as everyone thought they had finally won, Michael emerged, standing unharmed under the iceberg. Do you know the consequences of opposing me? He asked. The next second, several dark spheres surrounded Ares. Ares immediately deployed her strongest protective shield, but under Michael's continuous bombardment, the shield shattered. She flew backward through the air. Michael, however, wouldn't let her go, preparing to deliver a fatal blow. Just as Ares was about to be engulfed by the dark spheres, a golden light shone. Her outer garment suddenly lit up with magical patterns, firmly protecting her. Despite this, the huge impact sent Ares crashing directly into a nearby building. Is this Hunter Sagan's immortal coat? I want to see how long it lasts against my skill. he activated Control plus 10, a skill designed for cutting selected targets. The building instantly erupted in a massive explosion. However, Ares emerged from the ruins completely unharmed, shielded by the immortal coat. This was the first time Michael had encountered an item his curse couldn't cut, truly worthy of the legendary strongest mage's creation. Just as Michael was about to attack Ares again, Maul charged him from behind with his sword, but Michael instantly detected him. A single dark sphere counterattack was enough to defeat Maul. Shinoda Satoru anxiously ran to his side. Noticing more and more people gathering, Michael decided to deal with these small fries first. He activated Control plus A, instantly selecting everyone around him. Once again, the inverted triangle symbol appeared above their heads. As Michael's cutting skill activated, the surrounding hunters began to fall one by one. Those still standing watched in horror as their comrades continuously dropped. Terrified, everyone wanted to flee, but it was already too late. The next second, dark spheres exploded where each person stood. To everyone's surprise, they all survived. It was President Fuwa, holding his battered shield, who had barely blocked the attack. All survivors, evacuate immediately. This upcoming battle cannot be won by numbers alone. At that moment, President Fuwa noticed Lucas standing motionless in the crowd. Seeing his trembling hands, Fuwa said, "If you're also afraid, then I advise you to leave with everyone else. Furthermore, you have no obligation to protect this country. I hope you can testify against their crimes later." Lucas, meanwhile, was struggling internally, falling into deep memories. Hunter Sagan, why do you insist on fighting? Now you even want to borrow the Holy Sword's power. This isn't even your country. When Hunter Sagan saw Lucas, he understood immediately. So your parents refused me because of you. In the near future, national borders and race won't matter anymore. An era is coming where we all must fight with all our might. By then, you'll understand the Holy Sword's importance. At that moment, even if you feel afraid, you cannot hesitate. Faced with this sudden attacker, Michael merely raised his hand. Control! Deleting target! A huge dark sphere instantly materialized. Lucas showed no retreat in the face of this attack. Wielding the Holy Sword's power, he directly shattered the dark sphere. Now that Michael had absorbed Control Plus, was he invincible? Not yet. This was thanks to the Holy Sword's existence, specifically its radiance. Radiance could block all dark forces, and since curse power was similar to dark skills, radiance still had some effect on it. The radiance and curse power canceled each other out, just as the Holy Sword was about to strike Michael. Suddenly, a pitch-black long sword blocked the Holy Sword. For the first time, Michael drew his own sword in front of others. "I didn't expect even a coward like you would dare to be insolent before me." "Shut up, you bastard!" An angry Lucas continuously slashed at Michael. He reasoned that at this close distance, Michael shouldn't be able to use his curse power. If it's just a contest of swordsmanship, I'm confident I can beat him. However, at that moment, he heard Michael's mocking words. "I'm certain this is the worst decision of your life." Control X, Michael announced, cutting all objects in the surrounding area, but not including the user himself. At this distance, even your radiance can't completely neutralize it. The next second, Lucas was engulfed by darkness. A huge dark sphere devoured everything around. Suddenly, several rays of light shot out from the darkness. It was the Holy Sword technique, Radiant Burst. Lucas barely escaped from the darkness, but to his shock, the Holy Sword made a cracking sound. The next second, half the blade fell to the ground. This was bad. There was no way to deal with him now. "I didn't expect you to have another trick up your sleeve. No wonder Ares' attack was ineffective against you earlier. Now, without the Holy Sword, what will you use to fight me? Tell me quickly where Control X." With that, he grabbed Lucas's throat. He then condensed an energy sphere, holding it threateningly. "If you don't tell me, I'll send you on your way right now." Suddenly, the space behind him cracked open. Sano jumped out holding the Kalisha dragon sword. Just as he swung at Michael, Michael dodged in time. "To steal others' curses by killing them? I wouldn't feel any guilt killing someone like you." At that moment, Michael suddenly noticed his dimensional fragment was resonating. This meant the guy in front of him also had dimensional fragments. He was even holding the Kalisha dragon sword. So, this was the Control X Michael had been looking for. Just as Michael was about to attack, a hellfire quickly shot towards him. The moment he was about to be engulfed by flames, Michael used Control X to teleport away. Hunter Nanas, standing in the distance, glared at him, completely unharmed. Shinoda Satoru was overjoyed to see his sister safe and sound. It was a miracle. Even Master Kanda's healing arts couldn't achieve such a quick recovery. Most shocked, however, was Michael, knowing the damage his Control X usually caused. This meant her wound had been preemptively healed, even before she was injured. Suddenly, Michael was drawn to a surge of magic power in the distance. Arita Sara was holding a giant's heart, treating Master Shirasaki. "She actually has Control Z. I need to target her first. Nanas, seeing this from a distance, immediately swung her witch's blade with force. 2 sword lights rushed straight at Michael. However, Michael simply condensed a dark sphere, easily neutralizing Nanas's attack. Next, Sano activated Control 5, using World Tree branches. He directly summoned numerous branches to surround Michael, quickly wrapping him tightly. Meanwhile, Shirasaki had regained consciousness, shocked to see his severed arm rapidly regenerating. Not only that, but his clothes and equipment were also restored. Such a heaven-defying skill must require massive magic power. At that moment, Shirasaki suddenly noticed Arita Sara was actually holding a giant's heart. That bastard Sano said he was selling me the only one in the world, he thought. But it looks like he's made countless copies. Sano made you the first one I had to treat, and we need your help. Just a few minutes ago, Arita Sara had offered to help restore the health of high-risk patients in the hospital. This would require Sano to provide a massive amount of magical power. Sano's condition for this was that Arita Sara go to the battlefield and treat wounded soldiers. He also pulled out a giant's heart and gave it to her. Consider this compensation for sending you to a dangerous place. Just as Arita Sara was deeply moved by this, Sano delivered some disappointing news. You can only use this heart for 10 days. I can set an expiration time for replicas. If you want to own it permanently, it depends on your performance afterward. The scene then returned to the present. Arita Sara was moving through every corner of the battlefield, treating the wounded under Master Kinosaki's protection. At this very moment, the wrapped-up Michael broke through the branches. With an explosion, Michael appeared before everyone once again. You actually copied the corrupted world tree's branches too. Those are from another dimension. Just thinking about how you can copy items from other dimensions makes me eager to destroy them. Michael used Control A to lock all surrounding personnel. Seeing this, Nanais immediately unleashed Hellfire, but the same trick wouldn't work twice. A massive sword beam shot straight towards him, yet he simply raised his palm, used Control A to cut target, and effortlessly blocked it. Nanais had already charged forward. Massive Hellfire swept toward Michael. Seeing this, Michael tried to use the same trick again, attempting to neutralize the attack before him. But even after repeated attempts, he was shocked to discover that the Hellfire not only didn't weaken, but became even more ferocious. With no other option, Michael teleported into the air. This Hellfire was really getting annoying. He then decided to target Nanais first. Activating Control A, he selected Cut Target. A huge dark sphere swept toward Nanais. Just then, Control 5 activated, unleashing Spider Silk from the King Giant Foot Pearl. Sano used the Spider Silk to wrap around Nanais, pulling her back just in time. Are you alright? However, Nanais didn't appreciate Sano's intervention at all. Don't interfere with my battle. Calm down, this guy is dangerous, Sano warned. You should help transport the wounded. Leave him to me. Right now, I'm the only one who can handle him. With that, Sano charged forward. A calmer Nanais realized she couldn't handle the opponent's strange abilities anyway, so she turned to help rescue the wounded. Sano brought up his system panel. He activated Control 5 to use the light and shadow of Spider Silk and simultaneously triggered his shadow movement skill. He instantly teleported behind Michael and launched an attack. But the very next second, Michael appeared behind Sano instead. I can teleport too, Michael taunted, and I'm better at it than you. Sano immediately spun around, swinging his sword at Michael, but Michael steadily blocked the attack. Only the sword beam lightly grazed Michael's cheek. I didn't expect a replica to have such power, Michael mused. Michael activated Control 10, selecting Cut all objects around except myself. Immediately, the surroundings plunged into darkness. Sano, however, showed no panic. He immediately activated Control 5, replicating numerous holy swords. The next second, countless holy swords surrounded Michael. Are you planning to perish together with me? Michael wondered. Have you forgotten about my curse? Just as Michael pondered this, a violent explosion erupted where they stood. The terrifying power destroyed the entire street. Shinoda Satoru, already at a distance, watched the explosion with deep worry. Just then, Master Shirosaki passed by. If you're worried about Sano, he said, I think you can rest assured. It's dangerous here, he added. You should quickly move the wounded to the underground space too. Meanwhile, at the center of the explosion, holy swords and a Kalisha dragon sword lay scattered. A hand reached out for a sword. It was actually Michael who picked up the sword. At that moment, Sano also successfully revived. I see you can replicate your own body, Michael observed. By the way, can I have this Kalisha dragon sword? Sano replied. Use it as you like. This sword is about to expire anyway. As Sano finished speaking, the long sword in Michael's hand began to dissipate. It quickly vanished. It actually has an expiration date, Michael muttered in surprise. If that's the case, Michael pressed, what's the shelf life of your body? Sano simply said, I don't know what you're talking about. Michael scoffed. Anyway, your curse can't do anything to me. Sano smirked. Do you really think so? My curse power is slowly destroying you. And once my curse power kills you, even if you copy and paste yourself back, you'll only become a weaker version. The more times I kill you with my curse, the weaker you'll become. This will continue until you truly die. Sano was shocked. Everything Michael said was true. Even though he had revived, he hadn't fully recovered. His basic defense was 245, his skill level 7, and proficiency level 10. It seemed Sano didn't have much chance of winning, but he had a plan. If his health dropped below 25%, the Kalicia Dragon Sword's Berserk mode would activate. Perhaps that would give him a chance to defeat Michael. With that thought, Sano activated his skill, Control 5, Branches of the World Tree. But just as the branches were about to reach Michael suddenly teleported. He appeared behind Sano, thrusting a pitch-black long sword forward. It left a deep bloody mark on Sano's neck. Sano's health had dropped below 25%, triggering the Kalicia Dragon Sword's Berserk mode. Immediately, the sword in his hand pulsed with red energy. Sano raised it high and slashed down. Michael watched in shock. Sano's terrifying sword light split the entire street, but Michael, protected by his curse skill, used Control 5 to cut everything around him. He then dodged the strike. Michael spoke. That was dangerous. I didn't expect that sword to go berserk. Too bad you still can't defeat me with just that. Just give up and go to hell. He then activated Control 5, Target. Immediately, black energy erupted around Sano, quickly enveloping him. At this critical moment, Sano used his shadow movement skill to teleport behind Michael, launching an immediate attack. But Michael detected it, activating Control 10 to cut everything around him. Both were instantly swallowed by darkness, which would be maintained for 10 seconds. Trapped inside, Sano painfully died from the strike. Sano's Control 5 skill triggered, allowing him to revive. He was trapped in a continuous cycle of revival and death. Meanwhile, in another space, Lucas was writhing in agony from the curse's power. He thought, if only I had a replicated holy sword. Just then, a coat was draped over him. The curse on Lucas immediately began to subside. The person explained, my mother left this to me. I don't know how it works, but it can eliminate most curse effects. Lucas was completely shocked. Could this be? He wondered. Just then, a voice came from behind him. Lucas, do you know what's different between the skills Michael uses and ours? As you suspected, his skills aren't conventional hunter skills. The voice continued, explaining that Michael's Control X could cut all objects, completely erasing everything. You must have noticed you can't fully unleash the power of the witch's blade. It seems something went wrong during Michael's restoration process. If this continues, he might just keep deteriorating. The voice then added, even Sano can't perfectly replicate items that have been cut. Lucas asked, you mean Sano might not be able to defeat Michael? He has only one weakness, the voice replied. To make up for it, he's been trying to get the giant's heart. The scene then returned to the battlefield. Michael's voice echoed, Control 10, the magic around you has been cut off. After the smoke cleared, Sano, tormented countless times, knelt on the ground, covered in wounds. He realized he could no longer use his Control 10 skill. Both combatants were now approaching their limits. Sano gasped, your curse eliminates the magic around you. Is this why you want the giant's heart? Michael scoffed. It's too late for you to know now. What can you possibly do at this point? A system notification flashed. User severely injured, unable to use control skills. Sano quickly opened his backpack, desperate to check his available items. Sano had 3-dimension fragments. They were resonating with his opponent's fragments. It seems you have them too, his opponent remarked. His opponent's words sparked a sudden thought in Sano's mind. The person with the most dimension fragments could combine them, and their power would increase with each one. With this realization, Sano pulled a longsword from his backpack. It seems you can no longer use the power of curse, Michael scoffed. What good is a simple longsword? In a flash, Michael teleported in front of Sano, stabbing him with his own sword. You and I are on completely different levels. Before you die, hand over the fragments you have, Michael demanded. Sano smirked. Since you want them so much, then take them. As he spoke, 3-dimension fragments materialized in his hand. Immediately, the fragments emitted a strong resonance. The fragments in Michael's backpack reacted automatically. Didn't you know? Sano taunted. The one with more fragments can forcibly extract them, no matter where you hide them. Instantly, the fragments in Michael's backpack automatically appeared. There's one more thing I forgot to tell you, Sano continued. When they combine, there will be a violent explosion. As the fragments automatically snapped together, a terrifying explosion echoed throughout the world. The blast carved a huge, deep pit into the entire area. Michael was left covered in wounds. "What a miscalculation," Michael cursed. "This thing actually explodes." Soon, he spotted his target in the ruins. 4 dimension fragments lay on the ground not far from him. He teleported to the stone slab where the dimension fragments lay. As Michael reached out to pick them up, another hand snatched them first. It was Sano, revived once more by his copy and paste skill. He still held the Khaleesi Dragonzord, now in berserk mode. "Damn it, you're still not dead," Michael roared. As Sano swung his sword down, Michael quickly activated his teleport skill, but he was still a step too slow. The terrifying power directly hit him. The force of the sword instantly engulfed the entire block. "Let's see you get up from this strike," Sano muttered. Sano then stored the dimension fragments in his system backpack. That was really dangerous, he thought. I almost thought I couldn't revive anymore. Just like that time in the Snow Mountain maze, I miraculously recovered, Sano mused. It seems I haven't fully mastered the power of curse yet. Suddenly, a furious Michael stood up again. Michael began to chant, "Control A. Select all objects in this area. I will completely erase you. Control N. Cut selected targets." Black energy continuously surged around the area. How is this possible? Sano wondered. Where did he get the magic for such a move? He realized Michael wasn't drawing on surrounding magic. Instead, he was using the magic within his own body to cast skills. This was bad news. The range was too wide. Even Sano's shadow movement skill couldn't escape it. Moments later, half the city was swallowed by the darkness. Meanwhile, a man holding twin axes arrived at the edge of the dark sphere. This was none other than Turner Miller, the world's #1 ranked hunter. "Is this dark sphere Michael's skill?" he asked. "Yes, this is worse than I imagined." At some point, Shinoda Shiro, president of the Great Sage Guild, also arrived. "Boss," he reported, "I contacted the White House. They told us not to interfere with matters here. Did the International Hunter Association respond to our request for help? The country is gathering military forces. It's starting to feel out of control. It seems we have no choice." Just then, Turner pulled out the last dimension fragment. "Don't be too rash. I came here for a reason. I want to break in." He then assumed a battle stance. "Transfer all your magic to me. I'll take care of the rest." Shinoda Shiro then infused Turner with his vast magic power. Control Plus begins storing magic. Overwrite previously stored magic. As the magic flowed in, Turner soon held 10 times his own magical power. Grant user unique skills compatible with Titan X. Soon, his body was surrounded by the ghostly forms of 2 giant purple axes. Wielding his 2 large axes, he leaped from the rooftop. He slashed directly toward the dark sphere below. "This is using my magic to enhance his weapons, but this alone still won't be enough to destroy the dark sphere." Just as Shinoda Shiro prepared to help again, Turner's axe began battling the encroaching darkness. Control plus in, cut surrounding magic. But the instant Turner's magic disappeared, Control plus, release 4th layer magic. He was now continuously eliminating magic while continuously replenishing it. When Turner unleashed the 10th layer of magic, a crack finally appeared in the dark sphere. As Turner pushed harder, the crack rapidly expanded. Soon the entire dark sphere split wide open. Michael, in the center, looked at this scene in disbelief. The darkness in the entire area quickly dissipated. Turner landed smoothly on the ground. He then approached Sano. "I sense the presence of dimension fragments on you." Sano was stunned to see who stood before him. It was none other than Turner, the world's highest-ranked hunter. "That thing around your neck is a dimension fragment. What's your purpose in coming here? Are you also here to steal the fragments from me?" "Now is not the time to talk about this. Let me deal with the trouble at hand first." He then turned to look at Michael nearby. "It's been a long time. If your goal is also the dimension fragments, I advise you to leave quickly. You're still as annoying as ever, a complete troublemaker." Just then, Shinoda Shiro also landed. "Sano, where did everyone else go? They're all in my subspace." As he spoke, he extended his palm, opening a subspace in the air before him. Immediately, Shinoda Satoru came running out, crying and hugging Sano. "Teacher Sano, I'm so glad you're okay." Just then, Michael's voice cut through. "You, with the replication skill. I seem to have underestimated you. I'm preparing to leave. You need to understand something. My goal isn't the dimension fragments. It's the control key skills. Those supernatural forces that cursed us will appear again someday. We cannot stop them with these cursed skills. This is why the Hunter Saigon split the key into 5 fragments and sealed the interdimensional entrance. Opening the dimensional gate is just luring them here. Are you sure you're prepared to face all of this? Next time we meet, If you haven't become stronger, you can go to hell. With that, he teleported away. Is it really okay to let him escape like this? Don't worry. Next time we meet, it will be his death. After introductions, Turner took out his dimension fragment. I only have this one. What about you? How many do you have? The rest are all with me. Turner was incredibly excited by this news. He urged them to quickly merge the fragments into a key. Calm down, someone interjected. They explained that this place was how it was because 4 dimension fragments had merged. It was hard to imagine the consequences of an explosion if 5 fragments were to merge. Then, a suggestion was made to go to Country M. If the fragments were given to them, they could be stored in a guild. I don't want to go to such a terrible place, someone said. Just then, Sano had an idea. He looked over at Shinoda Satoru and the others. A guild, Sano mused. Maybe he should create a guild of his own. 3 months after the battle with Control Plus X, everyone arrived in the Nevada desert in Country M. As their vehicle slowly drove into the mysterious Area 51, the gate closed behind them. By this time, Sano's injuries from the Great Battle had long since healed. This is truly unbelievable, one person exclaimed. We actually made it to the legendary Area 51, and it's all thanks to my communication with the high-level officials back home, someone added. You know, I am the world's most outstanding hunter after all. Shinoda Satoru leaned close to Sano, whispering that the guy was unexpectedly humorous. Surprisingly, Ikenagaso was also in the car. Ikenagaso asked Sano if it was really okay for him to come along. Sano reassured him, saying it was fine, as Ikenagaso was a guild member, after all. Master Takuchi spoke up. Master Takuchi questioned if they had come all this way just for one thing. This place isn't only related to aliens, someone explained. They also conduct research on hunters and maze-related matters here. Our primary research focuses on items related to interdimensional races, another added. Most importantly, our recent research has focused on special skills called curses. Arita Sarah was very surprised to hear this, realizing it was why they had brought her along. Everyone was looking forward to one thing, building a passage to another dimension. Not everyone thought this way, however. Opening the dimensional gate wasn't just simple research. Barris, you're too cynical, someone remarked. From humanity's perspective, if the dimensional gate opens, we'll all gain more research and development opportunities. Plus, Hunter Sano's father's research would become much clearer. Sano internally wondered what his father had truly been researching. His real purpose in coming here was to explore that truth. This takes us back 3 months to the H Country Hunter Association building. A post-war hunter meeting was being held. By then, Michael had become a global fugitive. So, how is the destroyed city doing now? Someone asked. Don't worry, everyone, came the reply. The city is currently under repair and has already been about 80% restored. This news surprised several people in the meeting. How had so much been restored in just 1 week? How was that accomplished? Someone pressed. I'm sorry, but this involves classified information I cannot disclose, the speaker replied. We have special personnel whose information cannot be made public. What I can tell you is that Sano deserves most of the credit for resolving this crisis. The people in the meeting room immediately started discussing this among themselves. Sano, however, didn't care about their opinions of him. He turned to Nanessa and asked how Lucas was doing now. Nanessa replied that Lucas's family had considerable influence, but he was currently in an interrogation room. She added that she'd heard Lucas lost his standing in the family. Most importantly, he had already handed over all the holy swords to the country. Hearing this, Sano immediately understood how Lucas must have used them. When the battle ended, Sano had replicated a holy sword and given it to Lucas, telling him to take it. Ares had told Sano that without this sword, Lucas couldn't relieve the pain caused by the curse. So, Sano had instructed Lucas to keep the replica as a backup. The scene then shifts to Sano finding Master Shirasaki to discuss future plans. Sano asked why they had to go to Country M. Master Shirasaki responded that Sano should have seen the explosion scene back then. That was only the damage from 4 dimension fragments merging. If the final piece fuses, the power would be unimaginably great. Do you think there's a suitable place in this country? Don't you still have your subspace? You could merge them in there. Unfortunately, I've already tried that. Dimension fragments can't be merged in subspace. So, the only place I can think of is Country M's desert region. You're not planning to join Turner's Guild, are you? How could that be? Plus, there are 2 things I need your help with now. 2 things? After you tricked me with that replica giant's heart before, you still have the nerve to ask for my help? I'm forming my own guild. Can you help me? Shirasaki was very surprised to hear this. Why form a guild? My guild would always welcome you. I'm sorry, but I want to become stronger with my friends. I like the idea of having my own guild that no one interferes with. Later, at the Hunter office, Ares, I didn't expect to meet you here. I came to H Country to investigate my mother's disappearance. Someone nearby then asked, puzzled, You 2 knew each other before? Yes, we knew each other before my mother disappeared. I've been thinking about something. There's another person person the Western Hunter met after me. He used to be at a research institution in Country M's Area 51. Do you know Sano Kazuya? Aries seemed to recall seeing that name in his mother's notes. They mentioned he was a supervisor at that research facility, studying items from other dimensions. That usually calm Western Hunter seemed particularly gentle toward him, just like family. Just then, Sano also arrived. "You're talking about my father," he said. Everyone was very shocked to hear this. "I didn't expect Sano Kazuya to be your father." A week quickly passed, and Sano's guild was successfully established. "Is this our guild's office? It's fantastic, and I'm also the guild's second member," someone nearby quickly argued. "I think I'm the second member." "You're at most the third," someone else retorted. "Why are you so obsessed with this order?" Hunter Nanase and President Fuwa even came to congratulate Sano. "Sister, why don't you quit the association and join us? You're always welcome here." The President Fuwa then said, "You two are really something, poaching my people right in front of me." While everyone was chatting, a figure walked in from outside. It was Lucas. "I've been abandoned by my family and now have nowhere to go," Lucas stated. "I originally planned to become the first member of this guild." "You still want to be the first? Stop dreaming," someone scoffed. "Even I'm only the second." Someone else nearby asked, puzzled, "Who is the first member anyway?" Sano spoke up, "It's time to welcome our first member." The scene then shifts to the underground city of the Skull Tomb. "Slave number 1, what are you doing? How dare you forget to collect the skeleton sword on the ground?" The man being ordered around in the corner immediately responded, "Yes, I'll pick it up right away." Another black-haired man then asked, puzzled, "What's his name? Why do you call him slave number 1? What's his name?" "I think it's Ikanagaso. He owes the Mattis Guild billions in debt, so he's basically a slave for life."